JAKIB Sports is everywhere. Tomorrow, for the Eagles championship parade, Xander Kraus will be like the Pope of Philadelphia tomorrow. He will be meeting all of you on a flatbed truck in front of City Hall. JAKIB Nation, get down there. Holy cow. How you doing? Holy cow. This guy's going to be meeting and greeting people like he's the Pope. Hey, where's Pope Francis? No, it's Xander. He's going to be down at City Hall, man. Hit the like button. You guys have been absolutely amazing this week, man. That's going to be a great time. Xander's going to be checking in with us tomorrow. Hey, man. Congratulations to you. Really, this is what it's all about here, right, man? You get an opportunity to celebrate what was really a great year. It's almost like a JAKIB celebration, too, with this journey that we've been on here. Me, the naysayer. You have been the believers. No, Stills, you're wrong. Prove me wrong. By the way, because this week has been so chaotic, I swear to you, next week, we will pick a day. Xander and I and all of you get to trash Big Sills. I have not forgotten. Believe me, we will pay our debt to society, known as JAKIB Nation. Okay? We will deliver the goods. I will not forget. So that'll be next week. This has just been a crazy week, man. We got Eric Allen at 5:30. How you doing, man, Johnny? Thank you so much. How about this? We got Eric Allen, your brand new Philadelphia Eagle Hall of Famer. He will be on with us today at 5:30. Oh, man, I would suspect that there's going to be probably about 2.5 million people out there tomorrow. Okay? I mean, there's going to be about 2.5 million people. You know, I was going to save this topic. I was going to save this topic for a little bit later on in the program, but we'll start it off here in a second here. But make sure you catch Xander down there at City Hall tomorrow. He'll be on a flatbed truck. JAKIB Nation, I'm praying we have a flag waving out there for everybody to see it, and all of you guys can follow JAKIB Nation tomorrow. By the way, we may be putting some of you on tomorrow that are there with Xander standing next to him. God knows, maybe Xander might have a couple pop. I don't know what to expect tomorrow. Do me a favor, guys. Please hit that like button. Thank you guys so much. All super chats go to the top. We are now 27 days. Do you want to hear how short these NFL off seasons are? You want to hear this? You're 27 days away from the start of the new NFL year. You're 27 days. Did you hear me? 27 days away from the start of the NFL new year. March 12th starts the new season. Incredible. Incredible. By the way, I happened to watch a little bit of that Kellen Moore press conference, his introduction press conference with the New Orleans Saints. And boy, there's $61 million over the cap. Mickey Loomis has got a ton of work to do. You know, there's even conversation with the Saints try to restructure a contract to try to bring Dak Prescott down to New Orleans. Cowboys start all over again. I don't know. That rumor's out there. Steelers are talking about potentially making a move for Trevor Lawrence. I mean, you're going to get a lot of information this NFL offseason because everybody's chasing the Eagles now. I mean, everybody's chasing the Eagles. Somebody just said this here. Rodgers is washed. Yeah, I don't buy that shit anymore. Not after what I saw with Sam Darnold. Okay? The New York Jets are washed. Hey, by the way, Woody Johnson, you're the fucking worst owner in pro football. All you are is a Band-Aid salesman. You want to hear something crazy you want to know the difference between the Eagles and a shitty organization? The Jets have to eat $49 million of dead cap money since they're going to whack Aaron Rodgers post June 1. $49 million of dead cap money wrapped up in one dude. Man. I mean, leave it to the Jets to get worse after moving on from Rodgers. They got worse. Jets agreed, man. They're fucking bozos. Woody Johnson, stick to selling Band-Aids. Or you should ask a Madden guy how they would handle $49 million of dead cap money. Because, that's how he does business off the Madden game. What a buffoon. Guy doesn't get it, man. He never will. You know why? Because he thinks he's the end all. Jets suck, man. What a shitty organization. And if you're a Jet fan, how? What are you rooting for? Mediocrity? I mean, honestly, what are you rooting for? Being mediocre? Dude, you want to hear something? The difference between the Eagle organization and the Jets are hoping for a 7-win year. They're not even hoping any longer for 500. Man, that team sucks. And it bleeds down. Holy shit. I don't know who's worse, the Giants now or the Jets. I'm going to hang my hat on the Jets because they haven't won a Super Bowl since Neil Armstrong was on the fucking moon. I mean, whoa. Fireman Ed. A guy who bangs on his head. Pretty appropriate. That should be Woody Johnson with that fireman's helmet on. What an absolute dumbass in how he does business. They'll never be good. I don't care if you dig up Vince Lombardi himself. You're never going to be good. Hit the like button, guys. You guys have been great. Thank you so much. We appreciate you. We're going to get to the topics. So let me ask you this here. So we'll do this. We'll do this topic right out of the gate. Tomorrow's the parade. What Eagle championship do you think will be revered 5 years from now? More so than the other. 17 or 24? You can't do it now because you're in the moment. 2017 or the 24 Super Bowl. How do you think Eagle fans will look at that 5 years from now? And what's the glaring difference? Well, one's their first. 17 was the first championship. You never forget that. Okay? And if so, why this one? Why would you remember this one over the 2017 title? Apparently, Bradbury tore his Achilles in OTAs. Whatever. Who gives a shit? The only thing that guy brings to the offseason, James Bradbury, is a headache for Howie and his contract. Okay? And who cares? Hurts got a ring. Okay. Hurts got a ring. That's what separates the 24 and 17 Super Bowl. Saquon Barkley's year. Dude, can I tell you for me, though? The 2017 Super Bowl, it's still better than this thing, what you guys just did on Sunday. I'll tell you why. Big Dick Nick. I've never seen anything like that. You know how you guys said you've never seen anything like Barkley's season? I've never seen anything. Hey, what Nick Foles did was 10 times more impressive and memorable. For me, it's Super Bowl 59, hands down. JAKIB Sports. Thank you, brother. Appreciate that. I hope BG gets as much love and support as Kelsey after retirement. He's the one who deserves the biggest podcast and talk show. BG is Philly. Luke, appreciate it. Here's why for 17. You did the impossible with an impossible player. You went into that Super Bowl with the more dominant team, or I should say the more dominant roster. I'll always remember, and the play. The 2017 Philly, the Philly special, man. Nick Foles. How does 2024 top that? How does that top that? 5 years from now, man, that play is one of the greatest plays in Super Bowl history. And by the way, we're talking about your two favorite kids here. It's not a rip on any one thing. Both of them are iconic. Okay? No one's ripping anything here. I'm asking a question. How you think it will be remembered in 5 years from now? Everybody's going to remember the 24 here on a February 13th, the day before the parade. Historic defensive performance? Absolutely. Absolutely. No question about it, man. That's 17. Okay, start of a dynasty. We'll see, senor. That 17 team, though, man, did things I never thought was possible. You roll in there with, like, end of the season, what was it, 12 games that he had to go in and play, and Foles carries you to the Super Bowl and has an iconic Super Bowl game. That's right, Dennis. There's more memorable plays in that 17. This thing was now you can remember the destruction. Dude, it's not like you're not. I'm not trying to go. Hey, what's your favorite kid here? That's kind of what this is. What your favorite kid is. We got a boatload of topics here, man. Okay? Boatload of topics. That was just one of them. I thought it was interesting how people were telling me, Sills, I'll always remember this. And I'm like, you're not going to remember that Super Bowl 17? Foles in the end zone, catching that touchdown pass, going over to the sidelines, him and Doug having that interaction. Man, just tremendous. Okay? Brandon Graham should not come back. Interesting conversation there. BG. Do the Eagles need him? No. Do the Eagles want him? Probably. Does Vic want him back? Probably. Hey, he was very productive. I think if the price is right, you bring him back. Okay? 24 was earned. 17 had better moments in it, though. Did. I mean, dude, the quarterback and the coach, the play in the end zone. I mean, you're beating Brady. You outplay Brady. You beat the Patriots. Incredible. Remember this. That win against the Patriots was more impressive. You know why? Tom Brady never got killed in a Super Bowl. The Patriots were never killed in a Super Bowl. You want to hear something? All of Tom Brady's losses, his 3 losses, were combined by 17 points. You want to hear what Mahomes is? It's like 30. I mean, that 17 team beat Brady. I mean, Brady made all those C students, and he never got killed in those games. Tom Brady never was murdered in those games. His losses, his 3 losses were by a combined 17 points. Combined. 17, 2 backup quarterbacks beat the GOATs. Yeah, I agree with you, man. I'll always remember that 17 because of what they did and how they did it and who they did it against. Hey, Sills, they beat Mahomes and Andy. Yeah, no question. On the cusp of doing something spectacular. 17, GOAT versus backup, Philly special, first Super Bowl ring, BG strip sack, end of Patriots dynasty. All of that is why that will always be 5 years from now the more memorable Super Bowl win. Shit, you may be adding to it in the next couple of years here too. Okay? Guys, do me a favor. Please hit the like button here. Okay. I want to ask you guys something. I hear Xander, and not only him, but I hear a lot of people saying that you're set up pretty good on defense. How many people believe you're set up pretty good on defense right now, heading into the offseason here and preparing to get ready for a title defense? How many people think you're in a good position right now with your defense? Let's start on that side of the ball. Me, says Joseph. You're in a good place. Good shape, says M. Reyes. Could be better. I do. Not me. Long as we have Carter, we're good. Okay. Let's go through the list here of the biggest question marks on defense as we go into the offseason here. You know, and I'll answer my own question. Do I think the Eagles are in a good place? Look, anytime you're coming off a world championship and you have first whack at the players that potentially you're going to go into battle with in 2025, 17 for sure, good redemption 14 years later versus a team, versus the same Tom Brady, TB12, also earned my respect that day, realizing how legendary his career was. Obviously, 04, then you turn around and win him in 17, right? Gardner Johnson staying? Okay. All these are great questions. Hit the like button, guys. So here's my takeaway. And you tell me if you agree or you disagree with me on your positioning right now where you are heading into the offseason here with your defense. You guys think you're in good shape. All right. Well, let's, after the discussion, you tell me if you think you're in a good place. Okay? All right. What are you going to do with a 33-year-old Slay? You bringing him back? You're bringing a 33-year-old Darius Slay back. Let's start there with him. That's has to be addressed. And by the way, there is no wrong answer here. No wrong answer here. I'm just having a discussion. Are you bringing Darius Slay back? Abe says yes. At 10 million? At 34? 33? Is it going to be 33? 33, 34. You're bringing him back. Okay. So you're bringing him back another year, and he's going to be 33, 34. I don't know which. I think he's around that age, right? So you'll have the oldest corner in the league. Okay. The oldest corner in the league you're bringing back. Is that correct? Okay. Interesting. Your two inside linebackers that started the Super Bowl, are they back? Your Nakobe Dean's not back. They said he's going to miss the first month of the season. So your two linebackers that started the Super Bowl. So far you said you're bringing back the oldest corner in the league. Okay. Cooper DeJean, are you going to start playing him outside a little more instead of playing him at nickel? Again, folks, these are questions. There's no indictment here on February 13th. They're questions. So don't get your panties in a bind. Okay? Your two linebackers, are they both coming back? And will they be on the team in September? Yes or no? Oren Burks and Zach Bond. Hey, by the way, Zach Bond is a primary target according to the New England Patriots. And my friend at the New England Patriots, they have $121 million in cap space. They've got a ton of money. That's going to be an organization that's going to overpay, not just for Zach. It could be anybody. Oh, yeah, get this. Senor goes like this. Trash organization. Who gives a shit when you're putting $60 million in front of me? Again, one thing here we're not going to talk about. Nobody's talking about your cap. I'm talking about the market. I'm talking about the market here. I'll show you what I'm talking about. These are the latest numbers from the NFL Players Association. You have to be a member to go online to get these exact numbers. New England, $121 million in cap space. Vegas, $92 million. Washington, 79.5. The Chargers, 65-6. Chicago, 64-8. Arizona, 63. You want to hear something else, folks? The Detroit Lions have a $55 million cap space heading into. Oh, and by the way, no question, there's a lot of people who are right about it. I got the number. 49ers are $43 million in cap space right now. Okay? Xander, I missed the super here. I was reading that. Can you please drop that up there for me? Guys, do me a favor. Please hit the like button. I think Isaiah Rodgers is ready to replace Slay. Must get a deal done desperately on. Okay? So, again, here, like I said, latest numbers. And here were the Eagles. Eagles are 24 million, 24.4. Here's what I say about, what's his name, taking that New Orleans job. They're 32nd. They're minus $60 million. Here are the teams in minus and under the cap. Atlanta, 10 million under. Miami, 15. Buffalo, 18.9. Seattle, 19.3. Cleveland, 34 million under the cap. And New Orleans is $60 million under the cap as we talk right now. There are going to be a lot of people being cut at that place. 60. Kellen Moore took a job with $60 million of no cap space. That's how much they're over the cap. Their car can't come back. How's that guy going to win? Holy shit. Hey, Aaron Rodgers laying there? Make a trade for Dak? Restructure contracts? I don't know what you're going to do. You can't go forward with Derek Carr. So are both your linebackers back? How many people believe that Oren Burks and Bond will be back? Burks is going to be an easy sign, I think. Okay? I think an easy sign. Samuel thinks that you're going to get both of them signed. Okay. Again, no wrong answer on February 13th. Remember something, though. Remember what you have to look at here. It's not whether you can afford Zach Bond. It's what are you willing to pay for Zach Bond. You think Howie's going to go out and he's going to be a guy that's going to compete on the market for Zach Bond? I don't. I think he's going to have a set number to offer him. You think, how about this? Let's ask this fair question. Do you think Howie's going to get in a bidding war for Zach Bond at linebacker? Again, no wrong answers here. There's so many dumb teams. Nobody's saying he doesn't deserve it. But are you going to get into a bidding war with Washington? And New England can offer him anything. They could offer him 70. 2024 dominant performance, young team, number 1 D, and 2 and 3 year window is open with players signing long term. I loved 2017, Nick. Alshon and defense were older, wasn't repeatable. Okay? This is iconic, though, that 17 team. No, I'm not. Hey, by the way, I'm not saying Zach's going to get 70 million. I'm not. But, dude, this is going to be like an auction house. Dallas's cap. Soup, because I like you a lot. Dallas's cap space, according to the NFL Players Association, right now is Dallas is minus $5.7 million in cap space. Can you imagine being minus $5 million in cap space? You just paid a guy $35 million and another guy $60, and you got Parsons on the horizon. How in the fuck are you signing Micah Parsons when you're $5 million over the cap already? So who else has to go? Zach Martin? Okay, maybe get some money there. But you're talking about $34 million you got to sign that guy for. And as I told everyone, I think I even may have told Xander, the salary cap only goes up 18% every year. Now, with the addition of streaming and gambling, that may indeed change that number over the next couple of years. Obviously, in land of misinformation, however, I keep hearing Bond is Howie's top priority in the offseason. All I can do is hope and wait, and it happens. Dude, I'm not suggesting to you that it's not here. There's dumb teams. Hey, you're not hearing me mention anything about your salary cap. Yo, Seals, what do you think of Isaiah Rodgers' Super Bowl tattoo? I saw it. I thought it was dope. I'm good with that. Have a memory forever that you were on a championship football team like that. Yeah, that's cool. I liked it. By the way, guys, please hit the like number. Again, this is a conversation. This is what your general manager's talking about right now. How much are you willing to pay? Are you gonna compete on the open market? Here, I'll give you a for instance. Howie didn't want to compete on the open market for DeAndre Swift. Nobody had the idea that Barkley was going to do what he did. He had never shown any signs of that in New York. So to sit there and say you knew he'd go for $2,000 is a lie. Nobody knew that. Not anybody knew that. And you know why? Howie offered DeAndre Swift a contract first. Everything depends on price, especially with older players. Slay, in 2017, bringing in Alshon Jeffries was a mistake. Overall, great conversation over past week. Q, thank you very much. It's only going to get better, my friends. By the way, don't forget, Eric Allen, newly inducted Eagle Hall of Famer, will be with us 5:30 today. We will talk with him. Guys, let's get the number up, man. We got 98 likes. Let's hit that bitch, man. You guys have been great. Dude, the interviews that you guys have been listening to have all exploded. And from Angelo on down, everybody, even our guys yesterday, man, Mark Holmes and Philly 500 were spectacular. Excuse me, Champ 500. No more Philly 500 for a bit. Champ 500 was just absolutely awesome. Okay, so let's move on here. So the linebackers, there's some that go, hey, how about this? The linebackers, you're going to have to worry about at least one of them. Right? How many people believe that Bond will be back in 25? Hey, and I'd like to see what you think they're going to sign him for. I'm going to write it down too. I wrote a number down that I think they'll go to. And I don't think they'll go higher. I don't think they'll go higher than this. Let me see what that comes out to annually. And by the way, they'll make it work. I'm not talking about if they'll make it work or not either. That's not what I'm saying here. By the way, again, I am not bringing up salary cap one time here. Let's see here. Let me go here, and I'm going to. Okay. 14.5. So, Kyle, you're going to pay Zach Bond less than what you're paying Bryce Huff at 17.5. That is insulting. That's insulting. Dude, it starts at 17. You understand that? It starts at 17. You're not starting at 14. What are you, crazy? You're not starting at 7. It starts at 17.5. You see, Bradbury said he tore his Achilles in training camp. He said he'll be ready for training camp once to compete at corner. Sure, okay. He'll look good in a Buccaneer uniform. He'll look good in a Bucs uniform. Hey, I don't really, he'll be ready for training camp? Hey, Sue, here's to you with the Bucks. Okay? Here's to you, kid. Good luck to you, man. Hey, I hope you compete. Hey, I'm Ray. I hope you compete well in Tampa. Good luck to you. How you doing? Here's what I'm going to pay Zach. 3 years, 18.3. I don't think that's out. How do you like that number? 3 years, 18.3 per year. Okay, so we're working on Slay. You got to decide if you want a 33-year-old corner, the oldest corner in pro football, back with you. That's a conversation with Drew Rosenhaus. Okay? 18-3. Would Zach Bond take that? And you know what you do? You do the little I think corners Q, Coop, Isaiah, Becton, Bond will sign. You lose Sweat and Milton and Slay. Dude, you're not getting it. You're not going to re-sign with the Eagles because we're buddies. When you can, and your agent, why do you think you have an agent? Your agent's going to tell you there's more money on the open market for you. You got to determine if you want to go on the open market. And 90% of these guys, like in 22, will. Hey, man, there's no question every one of these players loves being an Eagle. But don't take the business part of this out. These guys get paid. This ain't high school. This ain't St. Joe's Prep. This ain't the University of Miami. These guys get paid. Again, this is big money we're talking here. Hey, you know, I love my school. Yeah, me too. I do it too. But if somebody offered me a better contract in another place, I'm out. Is there any way Huff can restructure? Why would he? Why would he? He got a $51 million deal, and they gave him a boatload of money up front. It's a complete disaster move. I heard John talking about the guy being hurt. When that guy wasn't hurt, he was a liability on the field. The defense got better. You know when? They put Brandon Graham in at the starter after the bye. John wants to be right on his takes and doesn't want to admit he's wrong. That Bryce Huff was a liability. How many times did Vic Fangio come out in a presser saying he's still learning how to be a 3-down guy? Nobody was fucking talking about him being injured then. He was getting blown up. The defense turned around with 2 moves. You know what they were? Putting Brandon Graham at tackle or at end. And what else? Cooper DeJean being added at nickel and getting Avonte Maddox's ass out of there. Were those not the 2 moves that were made after the bye? I mean, to sit there and say that Bryce Huff was not a liability prior to him being hurt, after being hurt, did it matter? He played awful. I mean, nobody in their right mind. Was he hurt in the Green Bay game? He was brutal in that game. Was he bad in the first 3? I mean, was he hurt in the first 3 games? I must have missed that and forgot that. He stunk. How many times did you tune to 22 on and go, this guy's getting blown up? He can't play first and second down. Nobody. Look, I'm going through this with you telling you that I'm wrong about what Hurts accomplished. You'll never hear me try to make my takes right if somebody fucking sucks or gets better. I mean, damn, dude. Okay, maybe he was banged up in the second half of the season and heading into the Super Bowl. But to Xander's point, you mean to tell me you'd rather have a guy in Brandon Graham who's 35 years old, hadn't played in 4 or 5 months, than a guy who came off of IR? Why'd you take him off IR then? So get this, what the Eagles did. Bryce Huff. Get this. So Bryce Huff, no. I think Senor Hurts was the caboose during the regular season, and he was the engine in the Super Bowl. So let me get this right, what the Eagles did. The Eagles activated Bryce Huff to deactivate him for the Super Bowl. What? That's exactly what they did, right? Did they not? Help me. Hey, maybe I'm wrong on that. Is that what they did? They activated him for the playoffs, right? And then they deactivated him for the Super Bowl. Why? Why did they just keep him on injured reserve the rest of the year? By the way, it's not a rip at Howie. Nolan panned out. Hunting's starting to play. BG was really playing well before he got hurt. Huff's contract was kind of brushed aside because those other guys making rookie money kind of compensated it. That's not where I'm at here. Any idea what they'll do with Huff in the offseason? No, they got to eat that thing. Or trade him and say that you'll pay 40% of the contract. It's the only way you move him. Get this, the Jets let that fucker walk out the building and didn't think twice about it. Nobody in their right mind this year thought that guy played fucking well in the first 4 games. He wasn't hurt. The team improved defensively when Huff was put on the bench and put in. Remember, we used to say this. Did Vic just say that your biggest acquisition in the offseason on defense is now going to be a role player like he was in New York? I think Vic hated the player. Or you wouldn't have not had him active for the Super Bowl. Thank God Smith and Dean came good. That's right. That's what happened, Sydney. Shit, Howie can look at the owner and go, yeah, we paid 17, but we got, Jalix Hunt and Nolan Smith on rookie deals. And then BG played in there too. Yeah, I'm good. You're good with that. It balances the scale. Watch this. Huff drags the scale down. Nolan Smith, Jalix Hunt, Brandon Graham. You turn the scales on it. You're good with that. You're good with it. Nobody in their right mind thinks that guy's good. If anything, he's a situational pass rusher. And you gave him 17-5. That's why I'm saying, I'll tell you what I'll do. So I'm not insulting Zach Bond. I'll give him 18-3. Package Huff, Pickett, a first rounder, a third, and go get Garrett. That's a garbage deal. Dude, Kenny Pickett to the Browns? I'd rather keep Jameis Winston. Why would I want a trash can quarterback? And a first rounder versus Garrett? Okay, you're saying 2 first rounders. Hey, you're going to have to put people like Milton Williams or a Milton Williams, Josh Sweat in the first to go get a guy like Garrett. Think like a Ferrari. You guys want to trade in your pickup truck, and you want to go like on a Ferrari dealership and go, hey, can you give me that fucking Dino for this thing here? It's a 1973 pickup. That's not going to work, dog. That's not going to work. Okay, so let's move off the linebackers. So here are your top questions. What I'm doing is, you guys say you're in a great place defensively. I'm asking questions about what your major questions will be about that defense that you so handsomely think is in a good place. 33-year-old Slay. Got to have a conversation if you think he's going to have anything left in the tank at $10 million. What's the price tag you're going to pay Bond? 18.3? How much more can he get in the open market? You know what his agent's going to say? Here's the offer from the Eagles. You see, the cool thing that you guys get to hear, I've negotiated contracts. Not me, but a guy by the name of, anybody in here ever hear the name of Bob Wolf? That was my agent. Do Ringo get more reps or bring Slay and Maddox back? They paid Bradbury to stay home, did not miss him. I don't know. They may do everything you just said there. On February 13th, there's no wrong answer. Sean, they may be thinking that too. No, Bob Wolf, not Ron Wolf. I'm sorry, Bob Wolf. He was the big-time agent with Randy Fataha. And this is what they would do. They come to you with certain offers. And thanks forever, every time to move on from Slay. Thanks forever. Everything time to move on from Slay. Okay. Seals, don't players focus more on guaranteed money? Yes, that's why the bag up front matters. And the years over the top end. Yes, I don't give a shit about the last 3 years. I completely don't care about that. Hey, Seals, I'm going to sign a 5-year contract. I care about the sign-up bonus in my first 2 years. You know how many players don't live out their contracts? 90% of them. 90% of the guys don't live out their deal. Look at Rodgers. Rodgers is not living out that deal. They're going to take a $49 million cap hit in New York. He's not living out that deal. You're going to say, get this, the Band-Aid salesman is only going to save $4 million off that fucking $150 million deal he signed there. Hey, this is why, Howie's worth his salt and gold if he ever got in the open market. Give Bond $65 million guaranteed over 4 with a 5-year buyout or 5-year option, team option. Pay him in a $20 million sign. Bob, all of this is right. You're in there. You're talking smart now. But to sit there and look at this. Now again, you're not fighting whether or not these players want to come back and how we can do it. How much are you willing to do it? And I heard Zader going, well, Howie will restructure these deals. That'll make it convenient. Well, this is why you have an agent. He will. He'll do all that. That's not a lie. But if my agent comes to me and says there's 20 teams out there that want to pay you 15 to 25% more than Philly, why in the fuck would I cut that out for me? Why? Because I just won a Super Bowl? Hey, man, I got my ring. Having 50 rings? How much is that worth to me? Is that worth me losing $25 million? No. Because what? Hey, I want to run it back. I'm going to take a $25 million over the next 3-year cap hit off my own cap? Not happening. Think like you would. You're asking players to put money in a trash can and light it on fire because you want them to come back. Well, hey, that's wishful thinking. Could you imagine what the defense would have looked like with Reddick? Would have been insane. Vic really wanted to keep him, but Hassan made it difficult. He did. His agent did. So wait a minute. You don't think there's more agents like Hassan Reddick's agent in the ear of these players? Every one of those agents are like that. Smitty did it because he wanted to do it. So again, I'm not saying it won't get done. I'm saying how much will it take to get done. There's a different conversation here. Because you're right. Howie will make it work. Within reason. Within reason. He'll make it work. You're the defending Super Bowl champions on the #1 defense. Your equity and your value as a player in this league will never be higher. You need to take advantage 1,000% of your situation right now. That's what your agent's telling you. And if he's not telling you that, he's not a very good agent. So, Howie, we're looking at both the Eagles and the agent over here. By the way, give me a total or where we are in the likes. Please hit the like button, guys. So, end of the day here. Not saying it won't get done. Nobody's saying this. You're going to be competing. Let me ask you this. Thank you, Brian. Thank you, Brian Fleming. Thank you. Guys, all because of you. Thank you. New England's got $120 million of cap space right now. The Raiders, Washington, the Chargers, Chicago, Arizona, Detroit. Your two biggest nemesis next year are Detroit and Washington. And do you not think they want to do things to get close to you? Right? Well, one's got 80 million, the Commanders, and Detroit's got 55 million in cap space. Why does Detroit have that much cap space? Brad Holmes hit on all them rookie picks. The trade for Matthew Stafford have all been grand slams. They're all on rookie deals. They can go into the free agent market and sign or trade for Myles Garrett. They can sign Zach Bond at $20 million annually. Why would Bond not want to go to Detroit? Why would he not? His agent, again, I'm not saying he does. Well, Gary Cobb said they're going to test the market. Gary said he spoke to him. We'll see. Let's move on. So, our first two questions heading into the offseason. What are you doing? Guys, I saw somebody put 34. Will Slay be 34 at the end of next year? I thought it was 33. So you'll have the oldest corner in the NFL, and both linebackers are free agents. Oren Burks and also Zach Bond. Both are free agents. Has to be addressed money-wise. You're on the number one defense, and you put on a display like that. Oren Burks, hey, how many people think that Oren Burks made himself some money? He was on the San Francisco 49ers. He's been in 2 Super Bowls the last 2 years. Played his ass off in the postseason. He made himself some money. His chances of coming back to Philly, there'll be a team out there offering 5. Get this, if Kaiser White got $7 million, when you pay Oren Burks 4, 5, maybe 3-year deal, right? Give him a $15 million contract. Howie's not offering him $5 million to come back. Not a chance. Oh, well, hell, I'll restructure. Oh, yeah, sure. Okay. Questions. Here's the next one. So Josh Sweat is out. We agree. So we're talking about addressing a 33-year-old Slay. Both linebackers have to be addressed money-wise. You're losing an edge rusher. And you are thinking, and who's replacing Josh Sweat? Okay. Sweat's going to command 18 to 20 million. There'll be a lot of teams after him. They'll overpay for him. Yes. Teams are desperate to catch Philly and weaken Philly. You understand? This is about catching Philly and weakening Philly. That's what this is. So, who's replacing? Don't put Myles Garrett there. Let's think within reason. Okay? Who's replacing him? Draft pick? Are you confident Jalen Hunt is the guy? Are you Jalen Hunt? Okay. But just a question here. Khalil Mack at 34? No, thank you. No, thank you. I think the market for edge rushers that are free agents are garbage. I don't want any Chase Youngs, Khalil Macks. I don't want any of that shit. If you want people, you got to trade for Myles Garrett, Micah Parsons, or Trey Hendrickson. I don't believe the Raiders are going to get rid of Max Crosby. So those other guys, I'll keep the dudes. I'd rather play Jalen Hunt than sign Chase Young. Okay, I would rather I'd rather develop him and see if he's the guy. So Jalen Hunt, you think's ready to play edge for you? Jalen Hunt and Nolan Smith. And you've got the albatross of Bryce Huff. Okay, so you're drafting a guy, all feasible. So you got to address Huff. Okay. So again, all this and all this work, I don't know if it's concerns. You have to address it. Keeping Slay at 33. Both linebackers are not under contract. Your edge rusher, who was and could have been the MVP of the Super Bowl, is gone. Do you realize that if he gets a half a sack, probably, he's the most valuable player? So you're going to let would we not agree? If there were 2 awards for that game, offense and defense, Josh Sweat would have been named the defensive MVP of Super Bowl 59. Would we not agree? Would he, right? He would have been the Super Bowl MVP on the defensive side if he had 2 awards. Probably, yeah. Pat, he missed out on being the MVP in the game by 3 votes. Okay. That's how good he is, or was. As good as Jalen played in that game, so did he. Okay. Draft, I don't have a problem with that. So there's an edge. 2 linebackers you have to do business work with. You see them mic'd up yet? I have. Another guy in the front seven's going, potentially. Milton Williams. Sydney, does Howie draft another good defensive tackle or edge? I think he needs to get an edge. Here. I kind of ran through that the other day. You know what I also did? I've got the top 3 players at every position that was handed to me by a general manager in the NFL for the upcoming combines that are at the 26th. We'll take a look at that. So I've got the list, not mine. It's a GM's list. Here. Or wait a minute. Where's that? Here it is. The guys that are going to be down at 32 if you move up or down. That guy, Michael Williams, Georgia, 6'5", 265. Jack Sawyer, I believe he's going to be down there at 6'5", 260. Me? Remember I told you, Chop Robinson finished 3rd in the Rookie of the Year voting. I told you that kid was going to be good. Actually, since I've come on the air, not one of my players has turned out to be a bust. McDuffie, who else? Kyle Hamilton, Jalen Carter. I told you the kid Verse would be great. I didn't think that great. And Fisk, I didn't know would be that good. That I didn't know. But McDuffie, Witherspoon, thank you, Sully, for reminding me. I said Witherspoon and Gonzalez, the kid from Oregon, would be great players. Thank you, Sully. I forgot about Christian Gonzalez. Yep. I like this guy, Jack Sawyer, for the Eagles. You're not getting Abdul Carter. Personally, if I had to flip a coin, I would say the two best players in the draft are Abdul Carter and Travis Hunter. Those are the two best players in the draft. And if I had to put my money on a guy, my money would be on Abdul Carter. I think he's better. I think that Travis Hunter is more versatile. But I think that kid, Abdul Carter, I think that guy, Abdul Carter from Penn State, I think that guy has the chance of being better than Michael Parsons. He looks better. He looks like a Von Miller, like that kind of dude. The way he moves. Rarely any Penn State guys suck, especially on defense. They rarely blow. I mean, that's a dude. When you play at Penn State and you play defense, there's a good chance you're going to be a good football player. I'm going to give you something else about that Colorado team. Do you know in the entire time that those guys, Shedeur Sanders and Travis Hunter, were there in Colorado, they never beat, at the end of the year when the rankings came out, they never beat a top 25 team. They beat TCU when they were like overrated and like ranked 5th or something. They ended up not ranked that year. Devin Lloyd, another good player that we talked about. By the way, Edgerrin Cooper. We started talking about Edgerrin Cooper this time last year. He turned out to be a great player. That guy Mike Green from Marshall. The name Marshall might frighten you. Watch his tape. Pretty good edge rusher. 6'4", 248. The kid plays well, and he played well against D1 teams. These are all guys that are going to be down there to replace. This is talking about replacing Sweat. Draft pick or 2 on edge. First, if the board falls right with another developmental edge, rushing D lineman, DT, edge are all going to be much higher premiums after the blueprint works so well. Okay? Again, no question. February 13th here, nothing's wrong. We're conversating here. I don't want Micah Parsons on this team. I think he's not focused. I think he's too into me. That guy don't look like a good teammate. I don't know. He just doesn't look like a good teammate. Hey, that's an opinion. That's an opinion. He just doesn't look. I'll tell you this, a guy won a couple Super Bowl rings in Dallas. Tony Casillas doesn't like him, and he's a Cowboy. That's not for me, man. I'd rather continue to develop Nolan. Hey, let me ask you this. Who had more of an impact this year on his football team, Nolan Smith or Micah Parsons? Let's be honest. Who had more of an impact? Nolan Smith or Micah Parsons? Nolan. Yeah, it was Sills. Well, the rest of his team. That's not his fault, Nolan Smith. Okay. Smith was more of an impact than Micah Parsons. Who's a better player? Hey, man, talent is the most overrated word used in professional sports if you don't apply it. I'm sorry, dude. You can keep telling me how great Micah Parsons is. Well, I'd like to see it in big games. Did you see Nolan Smith blow that fucking guy up that was trying to pull that trap play on him? You know, when Nick was talking about him being aggressive and physical, he blew that fucking tackle up. I watched that guy, and I kept flicking that thing back and forth. I'll tell you what, man, he does play with physicality. Michael Parsons does not play with physicality. So you gotta Cupid outfit for Miss Sileo on Valentine's Day. Shooting that arrow. Who's Mrs. Sileo? Oh, yeah, that's right. Old lady I'm married to. Obviously, she's not home. Yeah. Oh, it was Trey Smith. Thank you, Abe. Trey Smith, the all-pro guard. All right. He blew that dude up. Hey, he blew that dude up, man. I don't know, man. Would it be wild if he ended up having a better career than Parsons? Let's see. Yeah, so you got to figure out what you're going to do with Josh Sweat. Again, February 13th, we're starting the conversations like the Eagles are. What you're going to do with Slay. Hey, here's the difference between Slay and Brandon Graham. Slay's a rent-a-corner. As good as he's been, and did he build equity up, helping the team get to 2 Super Bowls? No doubt. Brandon Graham's homegrown. You're going to give him that celebrity victory tour because of what he brings. Slay's a rent guy. He was drafted by the Lions. That's a whole different deal there, man. You know what I'm saying? That's a whole different deal. Kellen's putting his staff together. So we'll see what that means if any Eagle guys leave. Sills, I'd love for Howie to make a move for Trayvon Walker in Jacksonville. Add the kid to the rest of the GA crew on the D. That young man has dog in him. I thought he was a great player at Georgia, too. I like him, man. Okay? I do. Slay is an Eagle. What's that got to do with being 33? What's that got to do with being fucking 33? That corner, the oldest corner in the league. Shit, they tried moving him 2 years ago. So Slay, the 2 linebackers' contracts have to be dealt with. You have to replace Josh Sweat. This is the conversation about the Eagle defense being in a great place right now. By the way, I'm not saying they don't sign every one of these guys back. Has to be addressed, though. So what are you doing with who's replacing Milton Williams? Are you drafting a D tackle or edge? What's more important to you right now? A defensive tackle and replacing Milton Williams or edge rusher? Or are you going to sign what? Or are you going to elevate Booker or Ojimo, the kid, those 2 guys behind the 2 tackles? What are you going to do? Pat says you're going to elevate, okay? I like those 2 kids. I like those 2 guys were very productive. They made themselves money. Hey, do me a favor, Bob or anybody. Are the backups free agents too? Booker and Ojimo? Are they free agents too? I don't know. Are those guys free agents? They're not? Okay, good. Then you can possibly elevate them on contract. Great. Okay. I don't have a problem with that. I thought they were very productive. They practiced hard. Well, you're going to need help, Stephen, for Jordan Davis. Jordan Davis is not a 3rd down guy. Booker's a free agent. Okay, so you need more depth there too. So you'll probably go in the latter rounds and find a defensive tackle, especially with the way Clint Hurts coaching right now. I feel solid with that. Yeah, this is a conversation, folks. You may sign every one of these guys back. And by the way, notice one thing I'm doing? I'm not talking about your salary cap. I'm talking about the market you're going to have to negotiate against. You're the champs. They're going to try weakening you and taking your players. If they're going to try to take your coaches, why wouldn't they take your players? That's why there's a salary cap. That's why that thing only goes up 18%. With increased demand for rushing defensive linemen, do you think it will drive free agency's money up to team high for positions. I think because that cap's going to 275, I do. That's why you're going to see numbers for Zach Bond north of 18 million. And you're going to see numbers for Josh Sweat and Milton Williams north of 20 million. And with the lack of development of offensive linemen, that number of $9 million for Mekhi Becton. So you're going to pay your kicker, Elliott, almost as much money as you pay Mekhi Becton? Okay. The Eagles pay their kicker more than they pay Becton on what you want to offer him. Really? I mean, who was more instrumental this year in having the best run game in football, 2,000-yard rusher, and killing teams at the point of attack? A fucking kicker or Becton? Here's $9 million. For what? The down payment on my house? I don't think so. You guys should just Google what the normal price for a starting offensive guard in free agency is, projections on what he's going to get. Start there, not wishful thinking. $12 million? The only reason, Yale, that Becton will be in the 12 million area is because he's a right guard. If you're a left guard, add 8. If you're a right tackle, add 4. If you're a left tackle, add 10. The blind side of a quarterback. These guys all get paid over there. Centers don't get paid. They're around 12 to 10 million. Right guards, here's how it goes. Here's the pecking order. Left tackle's number 1. Left guard's number 2. Right tackle's number 3. Center's 4. Right guard's the last dude in the room. That hasn't changed in 35 years. Does Miami have any defensive tackles coming out because your middle was dominant this year? Nobody had one on Philly. I think they were pretty good, but not good enough to play in Philadelphia. Clint might think so. I think that's an area where the Miami Hurricanes have not been good in 21 years. And they just signed Damian Lewis to be the defensive line coach. I told him how proud I was of him being the D-line coach. Back with the Hurricanes, he's working with Jason Taylor. And we had a nice conversation about defensive tackle play. And he asked me some input on some of the guys, and I gave it to him. We haven't been good there in 21 years. Seals, do you recall a college title team like Georgia to have players all go in the same NFL team and be successful like this? Any comparisons? SC used to do this stuff, Corey. Southern Cal would, like the Raiders and the Rams would be a team that used to put a lot of teammates on from USC. You know why? Because back then when they were traveling to scout, obviously it's cheaper to send somebody down from Oakland to go to USC in Los Angeles. And Al Davis loved the USC players. I mean, and to me, a lot of HBCU schools back in the day, the Raiders used to recruit HBCU schools, and they did probably the best job at going to the all-black schools, more so than what the other NFL teams would do. And that's why they had dominant players in the 70s and 80s, because Al recruited USC and the black schools. He'd go to Jackson State, he'd go to Miami, or he'd go to Maryland Eastern Shore. He would go to places like that, and he would recruit the HBCU schools. Steelers did the same thing too. That's correct. They would look at the black schools. They would look at was that Troy State that Mean Joe Green went to, or North Texas State? They would go to those kind of schools and HBCU schools, and they did a better job. Remember something, and not to get on a tangent about race or anything, but there were certain owners that were in the NFL back then that didn't want black guys on their team. And there were certain people that wanted good players on their team, like Al Davis. And like a lot, like the Washington Redskins, how many great black players did they have in the 60s and 70s? Can you name them? Their running back was white. John Riggins. I mean, Jack Kent Cooke was a racist. I mean, he's a guy that he just, I mean, there were a lot of teams like that didn't want to recruit. I was the first person to go out and really start doing that. So, yeah, to your answer here, it's like, thank God that shit's over. Only problem I have, is that you're trying to tell me that there's no Shedeur Sanders and Travis Hunter at any of these HBCU schools. Not one of those kids were invited to the combines. When's the combines? Not one of those kids are, the combines are coming up when? The 24th of February. Not one of those kids from any of those HBCU schools. I find that hard to believe. I do. So, let me go here. Milton Williams. Are you offering Milton? What are you offering Milton? That's going to be, and here, I'll tell you flat out. If I'm the New England Patriots, the Raiders, Washington, the Chargers, Arizona, Detroit, Tennessee, I have money for Zach Bond to overpay him. Oren Burks, any one of those programs. Pittsburgh's $40 million under the cap. Any one of those guys. Josh Sweat wants to play in Miami. Let's see where Miami is. Not a chance. Miami right now is $15 million over the cap. He ain't fucking playing in Miami. That's that bullshit that Drew Rosenhaus does, playing in Miami. You're $15 million over the cap. He's looking for a $20 million contract. So he's trying to set the market. If anything, Josh Sweat is going to land in Washington. Put him on the other side of Max Crosby in Las Vegas. Maybe Gannon. By the way, Top's 3-year contract. Because I'm suspect on the knee. And what I would do with Josh Sweat is this. How I would do it. Thank you guys so much for the super. Hey, Xander's going to join us at 3:30. Also, Eric Allen's going to join us at 5:30. Okay? Milton for $12 million? Way low. Let Hargrave go now. Niners about to, how cheap will it be if can't keep Williams, even though run is his weakness? I thought he got better with the run. Let Hargraves go now. Niners about to, how cheap will he be if he can't keep Williams? They're going to try to restructure that contract with Hargraves. They want him back, but not at the 20. They look at the 49ers right now. Here's the 49ers where they are. San Francisco is sitting at $43 million. Okay? That money's earmarked for Purdy, though. That money's earmarked for Brock Purdy. They're pushing Debo out the door. They're pushing all these other guys out the door because they got to pay the quarterback. And hey, here's another case. What are you going to pay Zach Bond? What are the 49ers going to pay Brock Purdy? Are you going to pay him $61 million? Not me. Not me. I mean, we got to have a come to Jesus conversation, son. Do I think you can carry a football team by yourself? No, I do not. And guess what? If I'm Kyle Shanahan, I'm going to have a come to Jesus conversation. I'll make another fucking guy just like you And his last guy I made was Jimmy Garoppolo. I'll make another one like you. I mean, are you going to pay him less? He's going to make probably hey, you want to hear something about Hurts' deal? Jalen Hurts' contract is already outdated. He's already outdated. $50 million? You got 5 or 6 guys making more money than him now. That's how much that contract. Patrick Mahomes is not even in the top 12 when he signed that historical $500 million deal. I mean, Dak's making 60. I tell you this, Brock Purdy's more accomplished than Dak Prescott. That's what I would say. The guy who makes the most money in the league has done the less. Even with me having a bad year, if I'm Brock Purdy's people, I go like this. My guy's been to 2 conference championship games. He's won 1. He's been to a Super Bowl. He has a winning record. There were a ton of injuries on the team. He still had a good year. You're going to pay me less than fucking Dak, who's been there 9 years? That's the argument for Purdy. That's the argument for Brock Purdy. Dak hasn't done more than me. And you see this one right here with Pat? Yeah, you know why he's got him over a barrel? Because that's the guy that saved you from your 3 idiotic first-round picks you gave up for Trey Ding Dong. That's right. That guy is the eraser where people go, yeah, you know those 3s we gave up for no-play Trey Lance? Brock reminds you, I fucking saved your ass, Kyle, John. Or you'd be on the unemployment line. I loved Xander's take yesterday. 49ers felt that 3 lost first-rounders this last year because they didn't have the personnel in the rookie contracts to be able to have people on the roster. You know why Howie had the Niners last year? What happened? Huff sucked. What happened, though? A rookie contract stepped up. I don't give a shit what his name is. Happens to be Nolan Smith, who was a first-rounder. Kudos to that. He didn't have that in San Francisco. That's the fastest way to get fired as a GM. You see, you fucked up with Trey Lance. Purdy covered it. All right. You messed up with Bryce Huff. Nolan Smith covered it, and he's a first-rounder. How we can go, hey, balances and checks and balances here. All of a sudden now Brock Purdy's like, let's go. What are you going to do? How many people think Brock Purdy could go to Seattle or Chicago or the Jets and do the shit that he did in San Francisco? I don't. That guy needs a football team around him. I'll tell you where I'd love to see. Hey, why do you think Baker Mayfield is doing so well in Tampa? Because the Cleveland Browns didn't have the talent around them that they do at the Y&Z with Chris Godwin and Mike Evans. And Tristan Wirfs out there at the left tackle position. Do you think there's any coincidence he had better players around him and a better defense around him? That's why Baker Mayfield's playing better. He got better players around him. Dude, use your eyeball test. Not that hard to figure out here, right? Football can be easy and simple if you just don't overcook it. Just don't overcook it. Yeah, like I said, here are the teams that are going to overpay for your Eagle players. New England, Raiders, the Redskins, the Chargers. These are the stupid teams. Bear. Hey, isn't it funny? Isn't it funny here? It's the same assholes every year. Overpay, no talent, no evaluating, no player development. Tell you this about the New England Patriots. Ever since they got rid of Nick Caserio, they are struggling by getting players in the building. Look how fast Nick Caserio, when he left. Hey, by the way, do me a favor. Just Google his name, Nick Caserio. Look how many Super Bowl rings he's responsible for. When he was in New England, he took over for Scott Pioli. And he was working with Belichick and getting talented guys and finding guys in the third, fourth, and fifth, free agents, bringing guys like Chris Hogan in, Amendola, Edelman, making a trade with the Dolphins to get Wes Welker. Nobody was doing shit like that. Nobody. When those guys all left the building, and then Brady left the building, it was an atomic bomb that went off in New England. You didn't have a talent evaluator, and you didn't have Brady. Pat, Nick Caserio's got 6 fucking rings as a personnel director in New England. Why do you think the Houston Texans turned that thing around in 2 years? He knows what he's doing. How about this? The Texans are a better roster right now than New England. Why is that? Well, the guy from New England is now in Houston. Don't overthink it. When you get great talent people in the building, you're going to win a ton of games. I got to tell you something. I saw him today. I think Mickey Loomis has lost his fastball. Howie's going in there and he's fucking that guy up. You can't lose Gardner Johnson and then turn around and go, hey, let me find Zach Bone, and now you got an all-pro. You had an all-pro inside linebacker on your team, and you had him in special teams for 4 years. Dog, that's a massive If I'm the owner, Gail Benson, I look at him and go, how come your guys didn't develop him? You had Dennis Allen in the building, one of the most qualified coordinators in all of football. Dennis Allen the only reason Dennis Allen got that Saints head coaching job is because of the job he did against Brady when he was the DC for Sean Payton. And you didn't see that? That's a whiff. Hey, did they draft him in the 3rd round? That's a double whiff. Did they draft Zach Bond in the 3rd round in New Orleans? Best way to dethrone the Eagles, addition by subtraction. Absolutely. Because I did. Well, he's a Super Bowl champion general manager. I do think when you go back and start looking at the cap problems they're in now, and missing on players that Howie's gone down in there, yeah. Mickey's put great players on that team. Alvin Kamara, Michael Thomas when he was healthy. He made the deal for Drew Brees. It was a stroke of genius. Nah, we're going to sign him. Sean didn't want to sign him. Mickey goes, no, we're going to sign him. There's something there. It was Mickey Loomis that saved Drew Brees' career. It was Sean Payton that coached his career. Okay? That was Mickey Loomis' call. Mickey Loomis drafted Malcolm Jenkins. That's right. This guy knows what he's doing. But you can't get hijacked like that. You just can't. One more time here. Nobody here is talking about we haven't for an hour and a half talked about the Eagles salary cap one time. The salary cap is irrelevant right now in the Eagle offseason. Do you know what is relevant? Your success. People poach coaches from success and players from success. And that's what they're going to do. So you've got one decision to make on Williams, and if he's coming back, Milton. You got another one with Josh Sweat. And by the way, who knows? I don't know. We're just into this. Fuck, the parade hasn't even happened yet. You got both your starting linebackers you got to deal with. All of this will get done, Sills. Well, like I said, I have no doubt. But there's 5 agents to deal with. Let's see. Slay, and how old he is, probably bring him back. I don't know. 2 linebackers. Okay, that's 3 decisions to make. Sweat and Williams. Half of your defense could be different this coming year. And you're in a good place. You probably are. You could have 5 different dudes on your defense. Is it likely? With your success and how much money certain teams have and how many idiotic teams there are out there that will overpay, I think there's a 70-30 chance you bring a great group back this coming year. You got your 2 inside tackles that will help any linebacking core out. You know the 2 most impressive things about Davis and Carter that happened this year? They were strong February 9th. I told Clint Hurt this. I said this, I go, you know what really made that defense this year? Those 2 big horses were in shape. You know why Orrin Burks didn't have a drop-off? It's the guys in front of him have been playing lights out. Hey, did we not say this? All of a sudden in that game where nobody played against the Giants, who played really great in that game? Jordan Davis played great in that game, right? What is Big Sill's top 3 free agents? Top 3 candidates. Look, I'm going to say it one more time about Kevin Petullo. And I'll say this to you about him. The longer this goes on, the more it favors Kevin Petullo being elevated. Okay? Like, if we, after, like this, would I be shocked that the Eagles named a new offensive coordinator Friday during the parade? From Friday to Tuesday, could I hear Kevin Petullo's name? Yeah. 99% of the time, most teams give up their future to win a Super Bowl. Kansas City being the exception, I think that this team is actually in good shape considering we just won the Super Bowl. Like I said, no one's saying you're not. I'm saying this. You got 5 big-time questions to ask, and you got 20 idiotic teams to deal with. I know this for a fact. I talked to Alonzo Highsmith, who's the head of personnel. Zach Bond's a top target for them. And you can say whatever you want. What if they come in with $65 million? How willing is Howie Roseman going to pay? That's what this comes down to. Nothing to do with cap. Howie's shown he can move the cap and maneuver the cap. It's the willingness of the Eagles on what they want to pay. How much are you going to pay Williams? How much are you going to pay Sweat? How much are you willing to do that? How much are you willing to lean on your player development after what you've seen Vic do? Bobby King, Clint Hurt. By the way, I haven't heard yet if Kellen has taken any of these guys. That butt buddy move by him, hiring Brandon Staley, will be his Death Star. Dude, I don't want anything to do with that guy. I mean, did you see the decision he made 2 years ago when he was the head coach? He went for it on 4th down on his own 25. And the only reason the Vikings didn't beat him is because You had an idiotic move by the quarterback, Kirk Cousins. That's the guy you want running your defense? I don't know about that, man. You're like, fuck. Really? All right. Hey, by the way, man, Xander's all pumped up, man. This guy's gonna be. What I'd like to see him have is a megaphone, and he's gonna be on the back of this, going like this. Yeah, how you doing, JAKIB Nation? Where the fuck are you? He's gonna be with that, and he's gonna be out front of City Hall. Holy cow! So Xander goes down. And he meets with the mayor down there, the chick who can't spell Eagles, who by the way, I agree with Xander. She did a hell of a job on the plane crash, and I love the fact and how she had self-deprecation on herself and she goofed on herself. I actually like this guy, or this chick. I really think she did a great job. Okay, so I'm cool with it. Plus, the parade's going to happen. There's going to be about 2.5 million people plus one, and his name is Big J. Xander Kraus, how you doing, brother?
What's up, Big Sills? How you doing, brother?
All right, man. So what's the gear going to be tomorrow, man? Is it going to be?
So it's a little bit, I'm going to be down there, all right? For anybody being at the parade, if you don't reach out to me, if you don't come and find JAKIB's where I'm going to be, we're going to have a bone to pick, all right? I expect to meet all the great people. If you're at the parade and I don't see you, I'm not going to be very happy. But for those who want to know where we are, I keep saying City Hall. City Hall is a big thing, all right? For those who know Philly, there's the Ritz-Carlton and there's City Hall, okay? You come up Market Street and you run into City Hall. To your right is Ritz-Carlton, okay? If you make a right there and then you're going toward Broad Street. Right across from the Ritz-Carlton, out front of City Hall at that corner is where I'm going to be. I'm going to be set up. The parade's going to come right at me on Market Street and turn right. So it's going to go right by my setup, and I'll have a camera on the parade, and then I'll be broadcasting live. I'll be down there. Krause will be down there. I'll have another couple of cameras. And the one shaky part is the city is great, by the way. They love us. I mean, you got connections in the city. They hooked us up with internet, or not internet, with power. So we have all the power cord that we need. I'm using Starlink to stream. So if I have an issue with the internet, yeah, I'm going to do that. I'm going to be recording a bunch of stuff and I'll post it up later. But the goal is to be live for the parade. All right. So I'm going to be live on the channel. We'll be live from down there in the great city of brotherly love. And I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be great.
I can't wait to see this thing get pulled off tomorrow, because parades are the shakiest thing I've ever been involved in.
And everybody should know that going into it. There's a lot of moving parts. Okay. Now, if for whatever reason I have issues, which is a very possible scenario, okay, I got a little mic. All right. I got a little mic for my phone. So who's going to be at the parade? You're going to get a street interview from Big Z. Okay. I'll be street interviewing the people if we got makeshift content. So I'm really looking forward to it, dude. Most importantly, it's great to get the content. And I know everybody's like, oh, JAKIB's killing it. It's not about that for me. I love this city. I love the people of this city. I grew up in this city. I understand how important winning, this football team winning is for the great people of this city. And I'm so pumped to kick it with all the great people of JAKIB Nation and all the Eagles fans. So it's going to be awesome. I'm really looking forward to it.
Me too, man. I can't wait to see all this. They're expecting like 2.5 million tomorrow. Is that right?
They're expecting a lot. They didn't put out that number, but they put out, well north of 1 million. There's going to be a boatload of people in the city. Now, I probably will not be making it down to the art museum where those speeches are. I think it's kind of overrated because everybody goes to the art museum super early to try and get the spot and all of that stuff. And I'm set up where I'm set up. I'm not going to, I can't reset up down there. So yeah, the schools are closed, as Yale mentioned, and it's going to be a great moment in the city. It's going to be a great day in the city. If you get cold, I'm not a person that gets cold. All right. I got warm blood. I'm good. I don't get cold, but it should be pretty chilly out there. So make sure you guys dress warm. And I told all the people this morning, I don't care if you take my advice. All right. But I'm going to tell you anyway. Don't be an asshole. All right. Be a respectful Philadelphia fan. No, seriously though, there's hardworking men and women, city workers, police officers, firefighter, all sorts of people. There's a lot of stuff that goes into this moment. All right. So if you can, be as respectful as possible and cheer on your birds, because this is an amazing time. It's only the second Super Bowl in franchise history, and I'm super pumped.
I'm sorry. I'm going to tell you that I think this is already taken care of, and I'm going to tell you why.
All right.
So you may act like an asshole in Kansas City or LA or Tampa. If you fuck those people's good time up down there in Philly on Friday, you're going to get a beatdown like the Super Bowl beatdown. I could just see 10 Philly fans, Eagle fans beating the shit out of somebody for ruining a time. You don't need, you're going to need cops. You know who's going to need the cops? The dickheads. Because the people will go. That's how I look at it, Xander. I think
there's always less of them than the media makes it out to be. But a couple of them can snatch all the headlines. So I hope it doesn't happen, but you never know. Yeah, you can't run drones. A lot of people saying JAKIB drone, Rico. It's a no-fly zone down there, brother. They got to protect everything. So no drone tomorrow, but I will have a camera on me. All right. I'll be up against City Hall. I'll have a camera pointed out, okay, where the parade would come down and a view of potential people out there. And then I'm hoping to have a third camera if I wanted to step down and interview or talk to somebody in the crowd or something like that. So it's gonna be dope. If you're looking for JAKIB, look for a massive red flatbed truck. Okay. It's got a big truck in the front. There's a huge flat.
I thought he was breaking the Ram out. He said no.
No, the Ram will be parked in where only few have access to bake sales. I'll just put it that way. All right? You got to be connected in the city to move around on parade day. So I'll have the Ram parked underneath. We'll be juicing some stuff up from down there, but keeping it warm. That's where the ladies, they get cold. They go down in the truck, start it up and stuff like that.
What's the gear for you going to have on? Are you going to have JAKIB or are you going to have half Eagles, half JAKIB?
Well, I'm probably going to have Eagles. I'm going to have my Eagles champion jacket on. I'll probably have a JAKIB. I don't know. Maybe I'll go like JAKIB beanie with like a Eagle hat on top or something. I don't know. I'll be mixing. I'll be mixing and matching.
That's good. Hey, if you have any JAKIB merch, you should hand it out to one.
I know. I'd love to, but
yeah,
I don't have a whole lot of shit. That's a problem.
Hey, you gave it out during the celebration already.
Listen, when you do something on the fly, you're not going to, people are like, hey, WIP spent $10 million, okay, to be there at the front row. So I'm doing what I can. We're building everybody, and I appreciate all of you guys for making it happen.
All right. So, Xander, let's get into some Eagle talk. Do you agree the longer this goes on, it favors Kevin Patullo being named the offensive coordinator?
Yeah, and I don't think it's a bad thing. I do think that. We'll see what ends up happening with it, but I don't think it's a bad thing. To be honest with you, I think it's probably the right hire. Remember, because you went to the Super Bowl, you're not looking at all the best candidates. Most of the best candidates have been hired by other professional football teams or even college teams. Those college jobs are so high paying nowadays that great coaches are like pretty good to go to college. So
the offensive coordinator, I know for a fact that Miami, or the D coordinator at Miami, he makes $2.5 million.
Yeah, which is what a coordinator makes in the NFL.
Yes.
So I mean, $2.5 to $4 million. So yeah, we're picking from the litter kind of right now. I don't want to say that because there are a lot of great coaches out there who haven't been given an opportunity yet. But I feel like Patullo is the right guy. I mean, you're coming off a Super Bowl win. I don't think you want to go into a mode where you're completely changing the offense again on Jalen Hurts. I think you want to build on it, like you mentioned yesterday, 5-10% improvement. And Patullo has been there. So he knows Jalen, he knows Nick, he knows how to work with those guys. And, the other interesting thing there is if Kellen interviews him to go to New Orleans, he might force the Eagles' hand because they're not going to want to lose Patullo and Kellen Moore. Patullo right now is the passing game coordinator. So I think they're probably going to elevate Patullo, would be my guess.
They're not going to take both Doug and Patullo. So, I mean, one of those guys probably is going to get the OC job, and I don't think the Eagles would have a problem with that there. And I'm going to tell you, man, again, I talked to Frank. Frank wouldn't tell me a lot, but he did say this to me. The owner wants him part of the organization in some form or fashion. And I heard John say a comment, and he's right. Frank's got to determine what he wants to do. The Eagles want him back as something like a consultant, passing coordinator. And John said something else right. Frank doesn't have an ego, man. That's not a guy with an ego. He doesn't care who he's a football guy. He loves being around the game. But he got so beat up from David Tepper and that asshole in Indianapolis, Jim Irsay, that it's really where it wore him out these last couple of years. I've known that guy for 43 years. I was 19 years old when I met Frank Reich. Excuse me, I was 18 years old when I met him. That's how long we've known him now. I'm 60 now. So, I mean, Xander, he's got to determine what he wants to do. However, Jeffrey Lurie loves him. Nick loves him. And there was a relationship and a conversation between Nick and Frank because of courtesy. Okay, now I don't know if that results in a hire or not. Frank's not saying anything because he doesn't want to go out there. However, Nick did speak to him, and Frank wouldn't tell me what it was about. But it was a respect call to let him know, hey, do you want to be part of something here? That's all I know.
That's interesting. I think it makes a lot of sense. I mean, look, you know how it is. This is a little bit of a buddy league. You know what I mean? Where it's a relationship. It's no different than anything in life.
Ellen's hired Brandon Staley, who hired him in Los Angeles.
I'm getting power from the city. Why? Because they got a relationship down there. That's how life works. I mean, so it doesn't. I get it, and that would make a lot of sense if they did offer him something. I don't think he's going to be the offensive coordinator. Maybe they bring him in as the passing game coordinator.
Yeah.
Something like that, and maybe that could be interesting.
I asked him, Xander, if he would take a lesser job than a coordinating job. He goes, "This is all about what I want to do. Like, if I want to do it, I would do it."
I mean, look, he's also 63. He's past his.
Yeah, and for the record, he's got another $9 million coming next year. I mean,
dude, there's no greater gig in the world than an NFL coaching job, even when you get fired. Because when you get fired, then you just sit there and collect cash. I mean, it's like. Nothing greater than that, boy. That's
no shit, man.
Good for Frank. Good for Frank. He deserves it.
Absolutely. All right. Tanner, I wrote this topic down. And I thought you brought, and you are right about this. However, there's another side of this. The cap is no issue here. You know what you're fighting? Your success now. You're going to be with your guys that are free agents battling against this. $121 million in New England, Las Vegas $93 million, Washington $79 million, the Chargers $74 million. I could go on and on. And by the way, aren't these the same cast of characters of the shitty teams? Arizona, Chicago, the Chargers, Washington, the Las Vegas Raiders, now New England. These are the shitty teams over the last 5 years. Now, Washington obviously had a tick up because the quarterback they landed on was right. You're not fighting a cap issue here, Xander. You're fighting idiots out there in the NFL that are going to overpay for players. I mean, how many times do you see in free agency players? Look at even last year with Bryce Huff. You overpaid for Huff.
Yeah.
I mean, the world champions are not even they can't escape it. So, I mean, my point is that here, let's go down this list here. And I agree, man, the young players look awesome on the team heading into 20. We even say next year, I think you're going to be better. I've said that numerous times.
Yeah, well, we were always planning on 2025 being the year the defense came to fruition.
Okay, Darius Slay. Here's your questions on, and by the way, again, conversation. February 13th, 33-year-old Slay. How are you handling that?
I think it's a tough one to handle. I mean, I don't know what he thinks he's going to make here or elsewhere. What do you think he's worth in the open market right now? I don't.
He's still here. Hey,
he's still pretty good.
You were right. He's banged up and he's good.
Both of us were right. It's weird. Both of us were right. He was good, but he was also banged up.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, part of me loves the idea of keeping him around because of, you got young guys in the room, and I don't think you have to give him a starter position, but maybe But
Restructure?
I don't. It doesn't work like that, you know. So
No. Restructure?
maybe
Like he did
restructure.
Brandon Graham?
Isn't his deal up though? He's got no more guaranteed money left.
Right. How about this? Okay, well then shit. So he has no more guaranteed money left.
No more guaranteed money left.
Bro, I got to tell you, man, I might be thinking about putting Cooper DeJean out there on that corner.
Oh,
out
me
there.
too. Me too. Are you
And,
kidding me? Cooper DeJean's going to be an outside cornerback. He is built for it, baby.
but
The
you know
first
what?
white great outside cornerback in how long, baby? Since
Hey, you
what?
wanna
Jason
play him
Seymour?
at
Is
wide
that the last one?
receiver? You want to play him at wide receiver? I think the guy can fucking do that too, man. He's
Dude,
an
that kid's a
athlete.
stud, man. Cooper DeJean is a stud. He
You
is a
see his
freaking
basketball highlights?
Abe, you're not keeping him at slot for life, dude. You're not
No
keeping him
way.
at slot for life. That's cornerback 3. I mean, you're not. It's
And
great.
by the way, that's not a lot of money.
Yeah, he wants to be on the outside. I mean, yeah, Jason Seymour, that might be the last one. I don't know. Keith and everybody's saying slot. I don't think so. The reason I like slot for him though is because he's a ball hawk. So you keep him a little bit closer to the line of scrimmage. He was good in that role, but I think they're going to put him on the outside. We'll see what he ends up doing. I feel pretty good though. Don't you feel pretty good about the cornerback room after those 2 draft picks? I mean, you already got Quinyon, so you've replaced Slay in a way with Quinyon. Now you got to replace cornerback 2. Maybe Cooper can become that, and you're looking at replacing a slot. It's a lot easier to replace a slot than it is an outside corner. So we'll see what they end up doing there.
Are you going to let Isaiah walk too?
Isaiah who? Richard? Oh, Rodgers. No, I probably wouldn't. If Slay's gone, you got to probably keep Rodgers. See, I thought Rodgers would be gone, but
I don't think he'll be overly expensive either.
I don't either, and I think he played pretty good.
Me too. For when they asked him to go in and do whatever side, cornerback 2 or cornerback 1, I thought he was like a good swing tackle. You know what I mean? He was like a good swing corner.
That's a good comp. Yep, I thought he was pretty good when he came in. He even made a play in the Super Bowl, broke up a pass in the Super Bowl. So, yeah, I think Isaiah Rodgers could be. How do you feel about that? Quinyon, Cooper, and Isaiah.
Quinyon, Cooper, and Isaiah. And a draft, maybe? You get another kid in a draft in the second or third or fourth round?
Maybe. I think it's going to be a trench draft. That would be my guess.
You know what? I'll tell you this. There ain't no offensive guards in this draft. They are not really ranked.
No?
Okay?
I haven't quite dived in it. I'm going to be diving into the draft hard after this parade. So we're going to have the parade on Friday. I'm going to get home and probably start cutting up footage all night. I'll be working all night on Friday. And then Saturday and Sunday, I'm going to be diving into the –
You know what this is?
What's that? Your draft
every single position top 3 so far.
Okay.
Going into the combines. Is
that somebody else's ranking? Is that how you rated them out?
Somebody else. It's Dan Morton's.
Okay.
It's the general manager of the Carolina Panthers.
Very nice. Very good. That's a good source to get it from too, not some talking head.
Yeah, and also Alonzo told me, I asked him what he thought of some of these. They were a little bit different. So I wrote the top 3 down. I'll get deeper into that here in a minute. But okay, so what are you going to do with Gardner Johnson?
Well, he's going to be back. Why would he not be back?
Why would Huff be back? Wait, let me stay on him.
Well,
you're comfortable. You're comfortable. Well, everybody can be moved, Xander.
Well, I know that, but I mean, if CJ's under contract, I mean, so I like that's a different scenario. Slay has no guaranteed money left, so they're going to cut him or move him or.
How do you think he played this year?
Who?
Gardner Johnson.
I thought he started off slow, and I thought he really came on strong. In fact, I think he learned a valuable lesson in the one game that he was thrown out, and it didn't temper him and get rid of his persona and his personality, but I think it made him.
Too much of that gone. I'm all right with that.
No, I'm good with that too. But I think you have to be reasonable. You can't get thrown out of games and cost your team games. Remember, that was the game they got beat with 6 seconds left pass across the middle on the backup safety. So I think it matured him a little, right, Keith? That's a great way to put it. I think it just kind of developed him a little bit where he's like, look, I can be feisty, but I can't sacrifice I can't cost my team. And I thought he really got good in the second half of the year. And it was one of those things where you didn't hear his name much. So
I think Vic reeled him in.
Yeah, I think it was more of the experience though than Vic. You know, I mean Vic probably played a part, but you do remember what he said after that game, and then he never had an issue again in the year, and kept his feisty attitude. So I thought that was pretty good. But I thought he had a pretty good year. Honestly, I was hard on him early in the year. I thought he kind of was letting me down in the first 4 or 5 weeks. But I thought he really came on strong in the second half and had a good year.
Both linebackers are not under contract. The league year starts March 12th. 27 days.
Well, the Kobe's under contract. You're talking about Oren and
I'm talking about the starters in the Super Bowl. Yeah.
Gotcha. Yeah, definitely a problem there. And Zach Bond spoke today. He was in the locker room. It was clean out day in the locker room. So they did speak to some of these guys.
So they must have had their exit meetings too.
Well, I'm sure they had some of that. And I will read to you some of what they said. I'll go over and check out. I'm working.
All supers will be red, guy. I
was getting set up for the parade, but they were in the locker room for clean out day. So they had a chance they asked Milton Williams. They talked to Jalen Hurts. They talked to Zach Bond. Zach Bond said, I don't know what the future is going to hold, but I would love for it to be here in Philly.
I believe that.
And I'll see how it all unfolds. That's what he said. So, there is an element that you can tell with the players where, even if they want to return to Philly, they understand it doesn't always work like that, so it takes two to tango and it takes two to meet at the right spot for things.
Gary was right.
Gary was definitely right. Yeah. Gary was 100% right. I mean, whether Howie will be able to pay or will be willing to pay the price, that's a different question. I would pay it because
this is not a cap conversation. This is the willingness of the Eagles.
Yes, 100%. So I don't know. Zach is somebody I would bring back over everybody else. All right. Over everybody else. So I would do that with Zach Bond, but just because I feel like it's the only level of the defense that you have nothing coming back. I mean, you just said it. Your two starters in the Super Bowl are not under contract. You still have two great defensive linemen you're building on. You need another edge, but you got Nolan, you got Jalen Carter. Those are building blocks. You got Cooper and Quinion in the secondary. CJ and Reed are coming back. So your whole defense is intact, but most of it, from last year. If you can get a linebacker, now you got a returning piece at every level, and I might feel much better.
Here, if you lose Milton and you lose Josh and you lose Bond, you're a completely different defense.
If you lose all three, absolutely. If you bring Bond back and you lose,
and I'm not saying, folks, they can bring them all back. I don't know on February 13th.
I agree with Yale. He says Vic will have input. He likes Bond and Milton. He's right about that.
Dude, you're not going to have input on the agent. I mean, it's great. Dude, do I think Zach Bond wants to stay in Philly for the next 5 years?
Yes, I know what you're saying.
Yes.
That doesn't mean the business is going to work out.
Dude, nobody wants to leave a great situation. But when those agents are making 10% or 5% off your nut, dude, and you're talking about New England offering potentially $65 million over 3 years, is Howie going to jump up there and pay that? Dude,
I don't know.
You got to pay for success.
I don't think he's going to pay that.
Okay, let's leave that then there. You think?
I don't know. What do you think he pays? I mean, is he going to go to $18 million for a linebacker?
I offered 18.3 over 3 years per year. 18.3. If you want to get that number down, give him some more money up front, lowers the base. But as long as it comes out, you have like a Devontae Smith kind of deal. Bro, what do you care? As long as it adds up at the end of the window.
Just give me Zach Bond and all the rest can walk. I think you can replace the rest. But Milton Williams, the problem with Milton Williams, I think they'd love to keep Milton Williams. He's going to get paid 20 plus.
There's going to be more here.
Not paying him.
There's going to be more teams that are going to overpay for him than maybe any free agent you have on the market because of the need for top D linemen. That number that you guys were throwing out about Becton, $9 million. Man, Andre Dillard got 11.
He's getting more than that. He's getting more than 9.
Andre Dillard got 11 in Tennessee.
Who said $9 million on Birds?
I thought John said that.
Yeah, well, John was low on Becton. I mean, remember, John's factoring in the knee problems with Becton. Is another team going to pay him to kick out the tackle, or are they going to keep him at guard? He's an interesting one because of all the factors in it. He's got some of those injuries and stuff, but you know what I would do? I would offer Becton 4 years, $50 million. It's $12.5 a year. I'd front load the money, and then you have an offensive line that features Landon Dickerson, Jordan Mailata, Cam Jurgens, and Mekhi Becton, all of which are 25, 26, and 27 years old. So he's 25. Landon Dickerson's what, 25 or 26?
Yep.
I like that contract for Becton, but I don't know if they're going to do that. Now, 12.5 for a starting guard, that's cash. That's great value. You're paying Dickerson
right guard too. That's feasible at right guard. Xander, it goes like this: left tackle, left guard, right tackle, center. The last guy that gets paid is the right guard. Okay, that's why, if you notice, the interchangeable piece the last couple of years outside of Isaac Seumalo, when they moved Cam over there, they put now Becton in there. Hey, why don't you play right guard?
Right.
That's the expendable position on the O-line on any team is the right guard. Are you going to pay 12, 13? So you would have this going across the line. And again, I'm just talking here. 25 million for Mulata, 21 million for Landon. He's on a rookie deal, so you don't have to worry about the center. The right guard would be making nearly $13 million, and the right tackle's making 28. That's an awful lot of money, man. Hey, all worth it. Brought me a Super Bowl, all fucking worth it.
Well, that's another interesting part of this, though, right? Because we're talking about this, and now these guys are Super Bowl champions. So I'm not saying that they don't want to be Super Bowl champions again, but Zach Ball goes in the open market and he's like 20 million or 14 in Philly. I already won. I'm probably taking that 20 million. I got to take care of my family. I get it. So
27, 28. I think it's a different convo if he's 24. I think it's a different conversation if he's 24.
We'll see what I want. Bond. That's the only one I truly want bad because I believe Stoutland can replace Becton to a viable level. I believe you have building blocks on the defensive line. They're going to draft an edge. Let's be real. Now, it doesn't mean he's going to contribute right away. They're going to draft an edge somewhere in the draft. And I wouldn't rule out Howie being a player in the trade market for edges. There's a couple of guys right now who are coming up, big contracts. There's bad teams. There's teams rebuilding. There's edges right now to be found on the trade market. It wouldn't surprise me if Howie went that route to replace Josh Sweat. Or maybe a sleeper to be re-signed is Josh Sweat. Now, I don't think so because he signed Drew Rosenhaus, and they gave him a pay cut last year, which, he probably doesn't want to come back here. But Sal Paolantonio was on last night, and he said his number one free agent is not Zach Bowen. It's actually Josh Sweat. And I was like, ooh, that's interesting.
He's third on many boards, Josh Sweat.
Yeah, so he's an edge rusher. People value edge rushers. Fifth. Yeah, people value defensive linemen.
Hey, I told you, I got this list here. I hope I still kept it. I had the list yesterday. Zach Bond was ranked 10th by many general managers because, again, many people feared the one-year wonder tag and all that stuff. He's 28. What's he going to look like at 31 after a 3-year contract? And these other guys, I mean, you're talking about a premium position. Milton Williams is like 5th on many boards, and Josh is 3rd behind T. Higgins. Dude, he's going to get a lot of look here. Hey, so for you, so Josh Sweat, you're going in the draft, right?
For edge? Yeah, but don't you need somebody right away?
Well, don't you have Jalen Hunt?
Yeah, I feel good about Jalen Hunt. Last time I said that, you said you're going to rely on him.
Well, wait now. You might have to wait.
I like Jalen. I'm actually predicting that Jalen Hunt.
You think he's ready?
Jalen Hunt's going to be a star.
You think he's ready?
It's tough to say that. You haven't seen much. I mean, you haven't seen enough. But you don't go into a season, with Super Bowl aspirations with hoping somebody can get pressure off the edge. They kind of did that this year, and it worked out for him. I mean, Nolan Smith turned the corner. Bryce Schnufflegus was one of the worst players in the NFL. John McMullen tried to tell me he wasn't that bad this morning. I almost laughed out loud, but I wanted to be respectful to John, and I understood what he was saying, so I just kind of moved off of it. But
was Bryce Huff hurt in the first 4 games?
Well, that was his point. That he was good, and he was good before his injury. I'm like,
really? You and I were calling him a liability.
He was. That's not a mean thing.
You know what Xander said after the second game? Xander said this. Stills, I watched some film. I'm paraphrasing this. You know what he said? Because I watched it too. He went, Dan, he's a liability out there.
Yeah, he is.
And I went, he is. I saw it.
Yeah, I was a little upset that Johnny Mack.
How about this? Do you not agree? The 2 important changes after the bye was starting Graham and then putting in Cooper. And then in a rotation.
And then the defense really went to the next level. I hate to say this, but when Brandon Graham got hurt,
Yeah.
Because that's when Nolan Smith stepped up and became a pretty much a force. I mean, on the edge.
One last thing. I'm not going to beat John up here, but here's he said that, he was hurt. He was dealing with it. So let me get this right. You activated him going into the playoffs. Then what you did was you deactivated a healthy guy for the Super Bowl. Why didn't you just leave him deactivated the entire year? They thought it, and he thought he was ready. And then he had that pouty face running off in the NFC title game when he was running to his locker because he basically, you know what he looked like to me? It was like Bryce Wentz sitting there after the Super Bowl.
Oh, no.
And when they won the Super Bowl in 2017, it was like Bryce Wentz. And, I'm really happy for him. I thought he had Tourette's.
I don't know, man. It's going to be interesting to see what they end up doing, but I do think winning the Super Bowl makes it a little bit more complicated. It probably changes a couple people's minds.
You're winning. Yes. Hey, that's the price you pay. Oh, my God. I got something here for you. Where the fuck is this list here, man? Okay. Where is this list? I got to have it here. Okay. Are you ready for this, man? Here is the final installment for the 2024.
What are you
25 NFL quarterbacks.
Whenever Sileo looks in the camera and smiles like that, put your ears up, all right? You don't know what's about to come.
Top 20 quarterbacks in pro football at the end of the year. Then we'll do the supers here.
All right, I'll do that.
Are you ready?
You got your list of 20?
No, you can do 10.
You're about to erupt at mine.
Okay. Here's mine. Number 20 from the Pittsburgh Steelers, Russell Wilson. Number 19. How about this deal? Talking about trading Trevor Lawrence to the Pittsburgh Steelers is a real thing. I got him at 19. It's kind of hard to find 20 good quarterbacks. 18 from the Chicago Bears, Caleb Williams. From the San Francisco 49ers, 17, Brock Purdy. Number 16, from the Denver Broncos, Bo Nix. From the Seattle Seahawks, 15, Geno Smith. At 14, on the Big Sills, top quarterbacks in the NFL, the finality of the 04 or the 24-25 year. Number 13, Jordan Love, Green Bay Packers. Number 12, from the Houston Texans, C.J. Stroud.
Okay, I like your list so far.
Number 11, from the Minnesota Vikings, Sam Darnold.
I'd go
Number
Stroud
10, on the Big Sill, he had a great year. On the Big Sill's top quarterbacks for the 24-25 NFL year, at number 10, Matthew Stafford, Los Angeles Rams. At number 9, from the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, Baker Mayfield. Number 8, from the Washington Redskins, Jaden Daniels.
Okay.
Number 7, from the Los Angeles Chargers, Justin Herbert. Number 6, from Motown, Jared Goff. Here we are, top 5.
Top 5.
At 5, from the city of brotherly love, Jalen Hurts. At number 4, from the Kansas City Chiefs, Patrick Mahomes. Number 3, from Cincinnati, Joe Burrow. Number 2, from the Baltimore Ravens, Lamar Jackson. and the MVP of the league, Josh Allen, Buffalo Bills.
Not bad. Not bad, but not great. Not bad, but not your best work. All right. Jalen Hurts at number fucking 5. The guy just won the Super Bowl MVP.
So what? I put the guy who has 3 Super Bowls 4th. Okay.
I thought it was the 2024 list.
Yeah, it is.
You want a 2023 list? I'll put Mahomes 1.
That's why he's 4th. It's 2024.
All right, you ready? I got 10. I didn't do 20. It's too hard to do 20 without knowing. I wish you texted me. I would have made my list of 20. All right, I'm going to go my top 10. Here it is. Number 10, Justin Herbert. Sorry, dude. 4 fucking picks in the postseason is not going to cut it. I don't care who's around you. Number 9, Baker Mayfield. I thought he had a great season, actually an underrated season. He did a lot of what he accomplished this year with 2 of the best receivers in the league on the bench, all right, or injured and not in the game. So great stuff from Baker Mayfield. I thought he had a really good year this year, and we'll see how he handles losing Liam Cohen as his offensive coordinator. Number 8, and I still believe this guy has top 5 capabilities on the other side of his prime, but I think he's still that good. It's Matthew Stafford, all right? I think he's an exceptionally good quarterback, one of the better quarterbacks in the league. Number 8 I have for him. Number 7, I got Jared Goff at number 7, all right? I know that seems a little bit low, but I couldn't justify putting him above any of my top 6, okay? Number 6, I have Jaden Daniels. I thought he was exceptional in 24. I don't know if he will be as good as he was this year, next year, because of how good he was. It's one thing to be like top 10 or 12 or 14 and then get better. When you go top 6, I have him 6. It's going to be hard to duplicate that in his sophomore season. We'll see. Number 5, I have the greatness of Joe Burrow. Okay, I think he's an exceptionally talented player, but young man, you can't miss the playoffs and talk to me about being the best quarterback in the league. I don't think Patrick Mahomes has a very good football team around him. He's throwing to Hollywood Brown and Juju Smith-Schuster. Okay, he went 17-1. How do you miss the playoffs?
The Bengals had the 32nd ranked defense. That's how. Roster wasn't built correctly.
You can say that if you're a top guy, you find more wins than 8 or whatever they had this year.
9.
Number 5 is Joe Burrow. Number 4, the most recent recipient of the Philadelphia ass beating. The most recent recipient, Patrick Mahomes. You can't have 2 picks and a fumble in the Super Bowl, young man. It doesn't work like that. Number 3, Lamar Jackson. Fantastic player. Lamar, October stats don't do it for me, brother. Okay? Let's see you have some success when the lights are the brightest and it matters the most. Number 3, Lamar Jackson. Number 2, your NFL MVP, Josh Allen. Number 2.
Wow.
And number 1, the reigning champion, the Super Bowl MVP, the winningest quarterback in the NFL in the last 4 years. The greatness of Jalen Hurts. So, number 1, Jalen Hurts, the man on top of the mountain.
You would draft.
Now. Everybody else is looking up.
If I had to look at all the quarterbacks here, you're telling me you would draft Jalen Hurts over Josh Allen and Lamar and Joe Burrow.
That's not what the ranking was.
Okay. Well, no, this was about the year they had, right? All the quarterbacks in the year they had.
Give me Jalen Hurts all day and 3 times on Sunday.
All right. You take him at number 1. All right.
Woo! I'll take him and I'll hoist Lombardi. You take the other guys and you hoist MVPs and passing yards. You hoist passing yards. Wait, this is me and Silly on the podium after I draft Jalen Hurts and he drafts Josh Allen. I'm on the podium with the big old Lombardi trophy. Sileo's on the podium with the
you're right.
NFL MVP.
No, he's a better player. No, you're right. He's a better player. He's a better player.
I got Jalen Hurts #1, and I don't give a shit
than
who doesn't
Lamar.
like it.
No,
I don't give a shit who doesn't like it.
Nobody on the planet with any brains would say that. Nobody would say that they're better. You think that Jalen's a better
I got a
player?
big brain. What are you talking
You think Jalen's a better player than Joe Burrow?
I got Jalen Hurts right now as the best quarterback
I
in the
asked you,
NFL.
do you think he's a better player than Joe Burrow?
I don't think he's as talented. I think he's a better player, yes.
Okay. And you think he's a better player than Lamar?
I do. I think Lamar is all talent, and he's not, and he doesn't have the winning attributes needed to win late in season. That's why he hasn't done it yet.
You can't dispute what he's saying. I'm talking.
Yeah, I know. I'm
just saying. I mean, you just can't. I mean, but like I said, the top 5 guys, if you notice, from now on, I can't ever bring him out of that. And I think, again, that you could put those guys all in a pile. And I happen to agree one thing about
I'm not mad at you for having Jalen at 5.
No.
I think that's fair. I'm not mad at you.
But listen, here's the thing with Mahomes, though. I think Kansas City's in trouble.
Me too.
I'll tell you why. I saw that Nick Wright saying that they're going to be on some sort of revenge tour. You don't have that fucking kind of team to be on a revenge tour. I think they're in trouble. You were right. They got more problems on free agency. You're going to let Trey Smith go? You're going to let Nick Bolton go? Right. You're going to let that Reed kid go?
Trey Smith. They better bring Trey Smith.
Hey, dude, the tight end's done.
The tight end, I rewatched the Super Bowl again, finally, because I've been so busy. I haven't even had a chance to rewatch it. He was so bad in that game. It was painful. Yeah. I almost was like, if I was a Chiefs fan, I would be so pissed.
You see him bitching on his team on the sidelines, and
he had multiple times, like even early in that game, to move the sticks and try and mitigate some of the momentum from the Eagles, and he just didn't do anything, man.
I'm going to say one more time to you. Hey, Eagle fans, you guys are going to be mad at me here. I lost a ton of respect for Jason Kelce, too. And I tweeted this out, if you put your love for your brother over being competitive, then you don't really have a relationship with your brother, because I'm sorry, being competitive and love has nothing to do with one another. Rooting for your kid, rooting for your brother, rooting for this, there's nothing wrong with that. But dude, that's still supposed to be understood if you got a good relationship. And I agree, man. I said it and I've tweeted it. I tweeted it at him. Philadelphia made you, man. They made you a multimillionaire. They made your legacy because, bro, no disrespect. The last 3 years, Cam Jurgens is better than you. He's a better ball player than you. You were out of gas. You know what the Eagles were doing? The Eagles were just giving you a ceremonial 2-year fucking tour. I'm sorry, man. I disagree. I went back and watched that just whatever it was on their podcast. I'll never watch that thing again. Then he's on WIP this morning trying to suck up to it. And I'm like, you can't even own your own shit.
That's where I don't like it, because I can understand the complexity of it, where it's your brother and you were not in the team anymore. And I get it. All right. I understand it. Bro, say it with your chest. If he came out, say it with your chest. If I'm Jason Kelce and he came out and said, yo, Philly, I fucking love you guys. I love all you assholes. I'm rooting for my brother in this game. Yeah. If he said that to me, I'd say, all right, I'm not happy with you.
Me too.
Say it with your chest. Come on, Jason. But anyway, again, like I said this morning on Bird 365, I'm not upset at him at all. All right. I like him. Obviously, I love Jason Kelce. He's done a lot for this city. I'm not mad at him at all, but I will not be the guy that rips into Eagles fans for being upset with him. If you sit here, okay, if you're somebody that says, I love Eagles fans because of their passion, you're not allowed to rip Eagles fans for this, because you're talking out of both sides of your mouth. This is why Eagles fans are great. This is exactly why Eagles fans are great, because they're passionate and they're loyal. So if you're going to be mad for somebody who cares more about this team than any name on the back, then you don't have Eagles fans pegged right. Not everybody's going to be mad, and that's fine. I'm not mad at Jason Kelce. I'm not. But I certainly don't look at Eagles fans who are mad at them and say, how are you mad at them? I understand it. They spend their time, their money, everything. Jason Kelce got everything in his career, from being in this city and for this organization. So I see both sides of it.
He's on ESPN because he's an Eagle, not because he's Jason Kelce.
Well, that was a big part of it. I mean, I think he's done a good job himself as well. But, I get it. I get both sides of it, but I'm also not mad at him.
TV show's a train wreck. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. I'm not mad at him, though. Prince says you find anything to hate. I'm not hating Prince. I'm just saying, say it with your fucking chest if you're going to say it, bro.
No, that's right.
He apologized to every side in 2 days. He apologized to the Swifties. He apologized to the Chiefs. He apologized. Dude, just say what you feel. Stop worrying about what everybody has to say about you. Just say it. Say what you believe.
Yeah.
That's it. That's all I wish he did, but whatever.
Yeah, me too. Hey, for a guy who's so honest, he couldn't be honest about the most important thing in his life, his family. Just do this. Yeah. And my brother better understand this. He knows I love him to death. I hope he has 250 yards in the game. But if you think that I'm rooting for the Chiefs to beat where I eat and where I live and the people that love me, you're out of your fucking tree. That's how
he was rooting for the Chiefs. I think there was a little bit also an element of I don't know. It's probably tough. I get it from a people perspective of being the top guy. Being the guy everybody talks about. Then you hang him up. Your team wins the Super Bowl. Your center replacement was great all year long. I mean, I get it. So it's a complex issue, but it's all good. It's all good. I'm certainly not going to look at Jason Kelce and say, oh, he's not a great Eagle. I mean, he was a great Eagle. Come on.
How about this? Do you want him at the parade?
I mean, if he wants to go there, he's more than welcome to be there. Absolutely. He played 13 years for the city, won a Super Bowl for the city. Come on, let's not get carried away. I think he
wasn't anything to do with this team this year.
I don't think I want him to be like a focal point. I want the team who won the Super Bowl to be the focal point. I want Jalen Hurts to be the focal point. I want Saquon Barkley. I want the offensive line. I want Vic Fangio. I want Zach Bowen. I want those guys deserve the moment. Yeah. But if Jason Kelce wants to go and take it all in and be there and like that, I think that's great. I think that's awesome.
All right. Yeah. Yeah.
By the way, I want to give somebody an update because not everybody was here at the start. Parade tomorrow. JAKIB Sports will be down there. I'll be down there. We'll be doing a show next to City Hall. I expect to see all of you. I expect to see all of you. All right. The Ritz-Carlton is here next to Broad Street. Okay. Market Street is over here, connecting to City Hall. You come up from Market. City Hall is here. Broad is that way, and Broad is that way. It connects, obviously, through City Hall. Make a right off Market. I'm at the corner between City Hall and the Ritz-Carlton. All right? Look for a big red truck, and I'll be broadcasting from there. And I look forward to seeing all of the great people at JAKIB Nation. All right? I'll be down there at 5:30 a.m. setting up. I don't know what time I'll be live yet, Denny. I got to figure that out when I get down there. I'm relying on Starlink for internet, which is good, but I don't know. I don't know. So we'll see. If not, if I can't go live, what I'm going to do is record a bunch of content, get some street interviews with the great fans of this team in the city, and it'll be great. So I'm looking forward to being down there. I hope to see everybody down there.
Cool. I'm looking forward, dude. I can't wait to see this here, man. I mean, I'm expecting a big crowd here. I really am.
Oh, it's going to be big.
Yeah.
It's going to be big.
Let's do some of these supers, Xander.
Yeah, it's going to be a big crowd, brother. It's going to be a big crowd. Luke's dad. What's up, Luke's? I'll go watch BG Pod instead of No Heights. BG represents his fan base more than Kelce. I agree.
Yeah,
for sure.
Me too.
But again, I don't want to get
into
it.
I get it. I do get it too, dude. I get it too.
Well, first off, BG's been my personal favorite Eagle, favorite present-day Eagle for 10 years. He's been my favorite Eagle for 10 years. Actually, Fletcher Cox was my favorite Eagle before Fletcher Cox retired. I loved Fletcher Cox when I was younger. In college, I used to go to the Alabama, Saturday big day parties where you just drink all fucking day on these fraternity campuses and shit. I used to wear the Fletcher Cox jersey, and I would be the Philly guy with the Fletcher Cox jersey on. So I always did that at Alabama, but that was a lot of fun.
How about Fletcher? This just came in here. Jordan Mailata said that the Eagles' offensive line was included in the Tonight Show because Saquon Barkley insisted that they be included in the show and said that he was not going to show up unless the O-line showed up.
Wow.
That's
Stills will still be on tomorrow, Senor. I got to figure all that out, though, man. You're You're approaching issues that I have not yet crossed. No, Sills will be up. I'll get him up. I told him though. I might click go live and then I'll talk to you at the end.
Hey, this may be one of those like tomorrow, folks. I may be doing with those Sileo-ons.
Yeah, 4 hours straight. Just start rambling. But
fucking go, man. Hey, but by the way, man, it's totally worth it with a parade like that. That's totally awesome, dude. You know what? Jordan Love is becoming my favorite Eagle. He is really becoming my favorite Eagle.
I got two new favorite, or I got a couple new favorite Eagles of the young guns. You want to hear them?
Yeah.
And I'm biased on all of them. I don't care. I love the way the Bama boys are built. Give me Jalen Hurts and Devontae Smith, 1, 2. Love both of them. Love the way they play the game. Love their mindset. Love their mentality. Love the way that they connect with their teammates. Love that moment of them on the sidelines, hugging it out and thanking one another and, saying that what a journey they've been on. 1, 2. Jalen Hurts, number 1 favorite Eagle. Number 2, say, I don't wear jerseys. I was telling people this morning, I let you and John get to me this year. You know who bought the first jersey Eagles jersey? I'm not a jersey guy. I've never been a jersey guy other than Fletcher Cox in college. You know what? The first jersey I bought in the last 8 years for myself? Jalen Hurts, number 2, when he was drafted to Philly. All right. I have a video of me. You guys would love that. I should play this on the channel. This was way before I did sports content. I was 20 years old and Carson Wentz was starting, and it was week 2 of the 2020 season. Week 2. And I made a video. Jalen Hurts should be the starting quarterback of the Philadelphia Eagles. Carson, I have it on my computer. I really should post it up and say
you should
throwback ever.
Dude, are you kidding me?
I'm a little self-conscious about it because I'm not very good on camera at the time. I had never done anything before, but I did have that video. Jalen's my number 1, Smitty number 2, and I might have to go Cooper DeJean at number 3 or Jalen Carter. I love how mean Jalen Carter is.
How about this one here? Here's some news. Landon Dickerson said today in the locker room that he may require offseason surgery on his left knee, and said that he could not disclose the exact injury and nature of his injury, but he could be out for extensive time.
Who's that?
Landon Dickerson.
Oh, yeah, that doesn't surprise me at all. He'll be all right, though. It's offseason.
Yeah, I'm just saying that. That means OTAs and all this and that. You don't need it. He played a long year. He'll be ready for training camp. Dude, all I care about is these guys show up for July. You show up in July, you're training camp. Okay?
I know
he'll be there.
I want you to prepare for something.
Sure.
I want you to prepare for having to deal with me now, okay? You're going to have to deal with me also.
It's a whole different team coming back here.
You're going to say, this is why it's not going to work. And they're not doing
How about this?
I'm going to say, fuck you, silly.
Hey, how about this here, kid? This is like everyone says, this is a brand new team coming back.
Oh, yeah, we'll see. Well, this team is.
Wait, you think the same team's coming back?
Jalen Hurts will be minimum.
Do you think the same team's coming back?
Minimum 3 rings in his career. Minimum.
Do you think the team's coming back intact?
Well, it's obviously going to be different. There's never the same team. Jalen Hurts said that 3 times today.
Yeah,
it's never the same team.
Right.
Never the same team.
Okay.
You got to get building blocks. You got to continue to draft well. Look, I'll say that.
And you got to keep your guy.
Of this team. One of the most important parts of this team, and the reason this team is successful, especially with the way Howie works contracts. With the way Howie works contract, it does not work if you do not draft well. The last 4 drafts, 4 years ago, you drafted Devontae Smith, Landon Dickerson, and Milton Williams in the first 3 rounds. All right. 3 years ago, you drafted, I'm blanking on some of them. I'm not going to be able to rattle them all off. But the last 4, Cam Jurgens, Jordan Davis, and I think a couple of other guys there in the 3rd and 4th round. 2 years ago was Jalen Carter and Nolan Smith. Last year was Cooper DeJean and Quinyon Mitchell. You will you need to continue to draft well for sure. So that's what I think is going to be very important for this football team. And I think they will. Howie's done a really good job, so I'm not going to doubt him, but he's got to draft well.
Well, and they, and again, folks, I think that because you're picking at 32, I think you get a really good player down there, because the draft goes to best player by the time you get down there. You're going to be okay down there, man. You're going to draft a starter down there. Let's get these supers, dude.
All right, let's do it. Shawnsky becomes a member. Thank you, Shawnsky.
Thank
I
you,
heard
brother.
from you last night on Instagram. Thank you, brother. I appreciate you, man. Thank you so much for your support of the channel. Let me make sure you didn't become. Yeah, thank you, bro. I appreciate that. Thanks for becoming a member, man. We'll be doing a bunch of giveaways too in the next week, so hang tight, hang tight. Mark Holmes should go to the parade and reach around for everybody. Oh,
wow. Hey, Mark Holmes took a beating yesterday, man.
Yes,
they
he
should
did.
have brought. Hey, they should have brought crime tape to that thing. I thought he was a great sport, though.
Yeah, he did. He did. I just found that video of me saying that in 2020. I should play it. Luke's dad. I'll go watch BG Pod instead of no. We already got that one. Thank you, Luke. Iron Mike. Only Mahomes beat Hurts out of the top 5 QBs. MVP 1. Love it. Love it. MJ says, remember, we still have Trevor Keegan waiting. That's true. I wonder what he's going to be. I kind of like that player, but we'll see.
I like him. I like him.
The only problem there, MJ, is I don't know if you go into the season relying on him. You know, I think he could be something, but I think there's going to be more contingencies that are put in place if he's not what you're hoping he can be. Luke Stad, again, thank you, Luke Stad, for all the support, man. From Hurts' locker room interview today, it sure didn't sound like Jalen was praising Patullo. He didn't go out of his way to praise him at all. Yeah, but
that's his nature, man.
Yeah,
that's how, he doesn't praise Nick. I mean, it's not what he is. So, I mean, I'm used to this now. I wouldn't read anything. You know what? Going into this, Xander, by the way, he was telling the truth last year when he said 95% of the offense was changed because the results of this regular season were changed. And Jalen tells the truth, man. But you know what he is?
Anybody.
He's kind of a nerd.
I'm not going to get – look, I'm not going to make him –
I'm not buying
how much of this – wait, let me just say to Luke's dad, though. Luke, how many times in the last 2 years have we made something of Jalen Hurts' comments about Nick or a coordinator? Like, bro, it's just Jalen's nature.
I wouldn't read into any of that.
John Castiglione. What's up, brother? I like that name. I think Bond and Beckham resign and we use early draft capital on the DE and DT to boost the young depth that's affordable on the D line. I agree. They're definitely going to use the draft capital on the defensive line.
I agree.
Doubt. I think an offensive lineman too.
3rd round.
Yeah, maybe earlier. Depending on how the board falls, I wouldn't surprise me if they went offensive lineman in round 1. Abe says, could Beckham
what they do with Becton?
What's that?
Depending on what they do with Becton.
Well, here's a question: could Becton replace Lane when he retires? I don't see that, but I suppose it's possible.
Here's Abe. You know, when they first initially drafted Landon Dickerson, they were thinking he was going to be the replacement for Jason Kelce. What ended up happening? He turned out to be one of the top 3 offensive left guards in the league. They're not moving him into the center position, so they'll probably end up drafting again someone else.
All right, here we go. I'm driving in from Michigan to go to the parade. Mike, I better see you down there. City Hall, meet me there, brother. City Hall across from the Ritz-Carlton.
Flatbed. Make sure you tell them.
Look for the flatbed red truck, brother. You'll see me, all right? Flatbed red truck. I want to see all of JAKIB Nation if it's possible. Prince Swayze, every season Sills makes us feel like the sky is falling with this team. You won't keep them. We did. Shut up, bitch, in my rock voice. Woo! Prince.
No comment. All we do is a talk show here talking about what you have to address. That's all we're doing here.
You have given.
And of course, you fucking bitch like a bitch when I do a show. So stop crying, princess. Go back to hold up.
Hey, you've given these fans a lot of shit. It's only been 4 days and you're already mad at them.
I'm already on the 2025. Like John John's a little too fast. The goddamn parade has to happen before you start talking shit on people.
Both of you. I'm telling you, I need to launch a Xander Crouch this week. Between John and Sileo, it's like, the sky is falling. I'm going to a parade tomorrow, as far as I'm concerned.
The Eagle savior. I mean, like, we're bad guys here. Nobody's a bad guy here. Congratulations.
We're gonna be good. We're gonna be good. Freddie, what's up, Freddie? Isn't it crazy Milton is about to be paid, and he was the player that the scout and Howie had a disagreement a couple of years ago on draft day. Yeah, Freddie, you know who the guy that Tom Donahue wanted was? Who? You remember what he's talking about? You remember Howie drafted Milton Williams, and then he went over to fist bump the rest of the crew, and the one guy.
Because Tom's a good talent evaluator. Tom was in
Pittsburgh. Wait. You don't remember that moment?
No, I don't.
You must remember this moment. I'll pull it up for you.
Man, I'd like to know who Tom, because
Here it is.
Tom helped build them Steeler teams.
Here it is. I'll pull it up. Because this is an important moment, all right? And I want to show you, I want to share with you something that's interesting about this moment. Oh, wait, I don't want to do that. Remember that moment?
Yeah, who was that?
See, that's Tom Donahoe. So he was very upset that Howie drafted Milton Williams there, and that's not who he wanted him to draft. He wanted him to draft Lim McNeil, who both have panned out to be exceptionally good players. So both of them are right, Freddie. Howie was right. Milton's been great. And Lim McNeil is making like $96 million now. So he got extended huge. So Lim McNeil is an excellent player.
You know what that shows me, though, man, how good of personnel people are in that room with him. Because when you got a guy that went on to have great success and it was between two guys, bro, that's a win, man.
I agree.
That's going against the odds of failure. That's a great video.
Yeah. It is. I'm surprised you didn't remember that one.
I didn't, man.
Abe says take some merch. Abe, I wish I had a bunch of merch. You know, if I had merch, Abe, you know me. I start tossing the shit out like hotcakes, but I don't.
Xander's been very generous, folks.
Well, Keith Johnson says, proud of you, Zeebs, JAKIB Strong. Thank you, my man. I appreciate you. Holy shit! The
Fishing maniac!
Maniac with a 50 burger. Or no, I'll call it what Maniac calls him. He calls them bangers. I love that on his channel. Dude. If he gets a super chat, he calls it a banger. So we got a $50 banger.
From day one, man.
From the man.
I got to tell you, I love the fuck out of you, man.
Yeah, he's great. He's got an awesome channel, too, by the way. Go check him out if you like fishing.
I will.
He's very entertaining. He reminds me of Big Sills in that he's one of those guys that is just very entertaining. He says, love this channel. Big Sills and Xander, I'm glad to be a part of the Birds family. Sills keeps it real and gives credit to Hurts and the Eagles players when it's due. We are Super Bowl champs.
Yep. Absolutely, dude.
Super Bowl champs, baby.
Well earned,
Super Bowl
man.
champs.
Well earned, my friend. Well
Maniac,
earned.
thank you so much, my man. I appreciate you, brother. I really do. Thank you for that. Birds for Life checks in. Sills, you said who can go to the playoffs with the 32nd ranked D for Burrow. Jalen did it last year. Winner. Woo! Great rebuttal. Great rebuttal.
It got annihilated by the Bucs.
That's true. That's true.
Yeah, but still, again, that is on the resume.
James M
Bird
says,
for life. You know why Xander can put him number one? He fucking has the resume.
Yep. Jalen number one on mine.
But again, the guy who has the number one resume in the NFL is Mahomes.
Mahomes. Correct.
Okay. But you gave it to the reigning king.
James M says, Kylie shows up for Philly harder on her pod than Jason does on his. Kylie's a Philly girl for sure.
Man,
she went to Marion Mercy. That's where.
You know what, man? I'm not going to continue to kill him for this, but
yeah, me neither.
I just think it's really fucking. Hey, let me say this to you, man. I'll do this right here, Xander. If my kid played for the Kansas City Chiefs and I got everything from Philly, I'll be telling my kid this. Hey, good luck to you, man, but I'm rooting for my team.
Yes, imagine Sileo, somebody going against Miami, and Sileo picking the person going against Miami. It would
if my kid became a Gator, you think I'm rooting for her?
No, I don't.
No. You know what I'll tell her? I love you to death, man.
And and I don't think that makes you not.
No. What have to do with my loyalty and my love for you?
Yeah, I know. But you know how Philly is. Like I said, they're passionate people, man. They're passionate people.
I don't know what that has to do with my love for you.
One way or the other, they're passionate people. So I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to tomorrow, by the way. Tomorrow's going to be great. I'm looking forward to it.
Look for the flatbed.
Look for the big flatbread bed, bro. You guys will see. This truck is like a month old. The thing is brand new. All right, this big-ass red flatbed. And I'll be on the back. All right, I'll have a table up there. I'll be broadcasting. I'll have a camera out toward Market Street, which is where they're going to process up there. They're going to go right by us. All right, I'll have a camera on me. And I'm hoping to have a third camera if possible where I can potentially interview some of the great people who are down there. So it's going to be great, man. I'm most excited to just be out in the city, though. I love being out in the city when this team wins. I love the city of Philadelphia.
Make a shitload of videos.
I'm gonna take so many videos. Are you kidding me? I got some extra people down there too.
I want to post them too, man.
Yeah, it's not a bed, KCA. I'm talking about a flat bed, bro. Flat. A big ass flat. Like you could put a John Deere on this thing. All right. This is a husky ass flatbed.
I could put my Hummer up there on this thing.
You could, easily. Your Hummer, you could put 2 Hummers up there.
Oh,
you don't listen, let me tell you guys something. I might not be WIP with $10 million for the Eagles to promote us. All right. I might not have 10 milli to give the birds. But find me another person that's going to get approved from the city to pull in a massive flatbed in the middle of City Hall during the Eagles parade. All right. Find me another person that got direct approval from the city officials themselves. There's a possibility, Sills. I can get Sherelle Parker, the mayor, on the show. If I can get her, I'm going to be so pumped. And I tell you what, if I can get her, I'm going to give her massive shout out and kudos on the show.
Yeah,
I thought she handled it super well.
Yep.
And pretty cool. Pretty cool.
Very good. By the way, Eric Allen will have the newly inducted Eagle Pro Football Hall of Famer at 5:30 as well. Xander, I'm looking forward to this. So who's going to start the show tomorrow for me, man? Is it going to be your sister? Oh, by the way, I accepted a Kraus yesterday. I don't want to say any names, but I accepted one. I think it's your sister,
Isabel Kateri.
Yeah, Isabel.
Yeah. What do you mean you accepted her?
She either my Twitter or my LinkedIn.
Oh, well, I don't know if LinkedIn would be her. Maybe though. Maybe.
Okay, because I did that. Good. Okay. Fantastic, man.
Wait, what are you guys talking about? Z gave Parker a love note. Who the hell was Mayor Parker?
Yeah.
Hey, Prince or Flex. Let me tell you something. You don't get connections in this city without a little something. All right. To get a little, you got to give a little, Flex.
Holy shit!
You got to give a little, Flex.
Did you just hear a giddy move here? Hey, you got to go here. You got to give here. You got to go over there. You got to do something there.
Oh, man. I really want to play this video. I don't know what it looks like, though, so I'm not going to play it yet. I'll play that one day on the show. I have a video. All right, stay tuned for this. I'm going to play it eventually. I have a video of me in 2020 in week 2 of the NFL season saying we should bench Carson Wentz for Jalen Hurts.
Fucking funny, man. I'd be playing that bitch all over my video right now. You know that.
I really should play.
Hilarious.
I don't know what it looks like though, so I want to watch it first before I play it on air. I remember watching it and being like, "Geez, I was not good on camera in that moment." All right.
Yeah. Xander, great stuff today, man. I can't wait to see this tomorrow, folks. One more time, Xander, make sure you tell them you'll be down in front of City Hall. Give them a kind of location, because everything is not set in stone during these parades, and be looking for the red flatbed.
Yep, red flatbread. All right, I'm gonna be I'm gonna be right next to City Hall. All right, on Market. Okay, you come up Market. See, if you know Philly, it's very easy to understand what I'm saying. I don't assume everybody in here knows Philly well. I'm a guy that's very good geographically and stuff, so I know the city very well. If you come up Market, all right, Broad Street goes through City Hall. One side's over here, one side's over here. Market's right here, okay? City Hall, Market goes into City Hall. You make a right, and Ritz-Carlton's over here. I'm right between City Hall and the Ritz-Carlton. So if you don't know where I am at City Hall, plug in the Ritz-Carlton and then loop around and keep your eyes on City Hall. You'll see a big-ass red flatbed truck, and you better come say what's up, all right? If I don't see some of you people, we're going to have a word in the chat, all right? We're going to have a word in the chat.
There we go.
And remember, Sileo, before I leave you, the number 1 quarterback in the NFL right now is Jalen Hurts. The number 1 quarterback in the NFL right now is Jalen Hurts.
Okay. Big Z, big day tomorrow, brother. Big day tomorrow. Hey,
Yeah, thank you, bro. Thank you,
you
man.
bet, man. Hey, Xander, 5:30, we got Eric Allen. We're going to wish him well on being inducted into the Hall of Fame as well. Won't be shocked if he's there as well tomorrow
Oh, I think he'll be there.
at the
It depends.
parade.
He's a Cali guy, right? He's a Cali.
Yeah, he kind of works with the Raiders too.
Yeah. So
He's in the Raider organization too. What's this one here?
Corey says, hope the young fans don't take this Eagles era for granted. Championships are rare. Some of us had to endure some tough years. Corey, I'm here to tell you something, Corey.
Look at this.
Young or old,
See
new
this?
fan or old fan, in Philly or out of Philly, international or domestic. I don't care who you are.
Five straight here.
The golden
Five
age
straight.
of Philadelphia is here, and it's all thanks to Jalen Hurts and Nick Sirianni. All right? These guys have brought winning to this city, the likes of which we've never seen before. Enjoy it all, Corey. Enjoy it, my brother. All right, so
Oh my God. Birds 365, man. How come every time I look at John, you give him like he looks like he's either got agita or he's got the flu because you're pissed.
Oh, John has not been happy with me, but I will eventually break John off the idea that one opinion in the world is the right one and any other opinion is not to be even heard or spoken of because it's not elevating the conversation. I will eventually break McMullen and make him acknowledge that other opinions can be valid outside of his own. But maybe it might take me all summer, might take me all year. We'll see, but I'll be on the quest to do it.
Good stuff. That's we're checking out Birds tomorrow,
right,
man. I'll tell
Thank
you
you so
what,
much, man.
Xander. Great stuff, brother. I'll check you out there tomorrow. I can't wait to see how this all comes out. Thank you, dude. You were awesome today.
Thank you, brother. I could look forward to seeing everybody, man. Love you all. See you guys.
You got it, man. Xander kicking ass as always and really doing it and making it happen. Guys, do me a favor. Please hit the like button. I have a list from a general manager that gave me the top 3 guys at each position that's coming up in the April draft. We're going to take a look at a preliminary look at that. My top 32 NFL teams will reset teams that are going to overpay for your guys. Do me a favor, hit the like button. Eric Allen, newly inducted NFL Pro Football Hall of Famer, will join us at 5:30. Good job, guys. You did it. I want you to do me a favor. I want you to welcome him in to the Pro Football Hall of Fame. And when he comes on at 5:30, do me a favor. I want you guys to wish him congratulations because, you guys really started putting guys like Jared Bell. It was really, I think, a real push on what you guys did. So that'll be at 5:30. Hey, don't forget my great friends at Morgan & Morgan. John Morgan, if you go over to my Twitter page, man, Morgan & Morgan was all over it. They liked our videos and everything. And, man, I got to tell you, they are such a great business partner of ours, and we're very proud to have them part of the program here. They're the #1 injury law firm in America with over $20 billion recovered for their clients. That's what makes Morgan & Morgan's track record second to none. In Pennsylvania, I told you about that deal. $650K was offered to a family. They came in and got $26 million for that family. Same in Florida. An insurance company wanted to only pay him $350K. No way. They got that family $12 million. Life is hard. We all know this. Decisions are tough to make. If you're ever injured, do me a favor. Check out our friends at Morgan & Morgan, where the fee is free unless they win. For more information, go to forthepeople.com/bigsills or #law 529. That's FOR. thepeople.com/bigsills or #law 529. And do me a favor, you tell them Big Sill sent you.
This is Eric. When he got injured in a car accident, he called Morgan & Morgan. He not only gets a lawyer, he gets trial lawyers like Sam and Jessica who are in it to win it. He gets his own investigators with briefcases, leather ones. And if you ever have questions, our customer service folks keep things rolling. Injured? We're your army. Morgan & Morgan, America's largest injury law firm.
Ignite your nights with free live entertainment daily, only at Live Casino and Hotel Philadelphia's Center Bar. 7 days a week, enjoy some of the region's top party bands, performers, and DJs as they take the stage in the heart of the casino action. Great cocktails, live music, and lively moments. It's all happening at Center Bar at Live Casino and Hotel Philadelphia. Visit livecasinophilly.com for more details and the complete list of upcoming events. Must be 21 or older. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Your financial future is on the line. Are you ready for what's next? At Leone & Company Wealth Management, we help young professionals, business owners, and pre-retirees navigate the complexities of building and protecting wealth. For young professionals, we'll help you grow your wealth, plan for your future, and make the most of your hard-earned dollars. For business owners, we provide strategies to protect your company, manage risks, and create a lasting legacy for both your business and personal wealth. For pre-retirees, we'll design a plan to secure your retirement, ensuring you can live comfortably and confidently in your next chapter. Whether you're just starting out, managing a thriving business, or preparing for retirement, we're here to help you take control of your financial future. The first consultation is on us. Get the advice you need without the cost. Let's make your financial vision a reality. Take the next step. Scan the QR code to schedule your free consultation today. And of course, go Birds.
In our hometown, we all look out for each other. We step up to keep our communities going strong. And at Independence Blue Cross, we're here to keep you going strong as the #1 health insurer in the region. No IBX is always looking out for you.
EAGLES. Eagles.
Great Sills, do me a favor, guys. Please hit that like button. Eric Allen will join us at the bottom of the hour. The newly inducted Eagle going into the Pro Football Hall of Fame. You can congratulate him. That will be at the bottom of the hour. Also, I watched a little bit of that Kellen Moore press conference today. Again, he reminds me of a librarian. He's very stiff. I mean, I don't really see a lot of personality, but that's what the NFL wants. You know, you can make an argument, and this is kudos a little bit here to Nick Sirianni a bit. Can you name me a head coach in today's NFL that's got a personality? Mike Tomlin, longest tenured coach in the league, right? Give me another one. That's got one. Sirianni, he's got a personality. Name me another one. I don't think NFL owners want those Buddy Ryans, Jimmy Johnsons. McVay, absolutely not. McVay's a bookworm. Sean McDermott, he's a bookworm. Dan Campbell. Dan Campbell, yes. So Tomlin, Sirianni, and Campbell. Who else? Personality. The dude in Miami. Yep. He's got one. Sean Payton? Kind of. Okay. Dan Quinn? Okay. Dude, back in the day, Jim Harbaugh, without a doubt. Okay? But these guys are different than the Jimmy Johnsons, the Bill Parcells, the Buddy Ryans. I'm going to tell you to go fuck yourself. Okay? These are guys. Kellen Moore is the prototypical type of coach that people want today. Mike Vrabel. I think Mike's got a personality. I do think he's got one. Okay? Not like the guys they used to have. So I'm watching that press conference today with Kellen Moore, and I'm going, I don't know. I mean, he's probably the perfect fit for what today's NFL is. I think they got a lot of problems, though. You're $61 million over the salary cap. And where are you going with Derek Carr? That I don't know. Don't forget, Eric Allen's going to join us at 5:30 Eastern time. I don't know where he's going to go with all that cap issues that he has with New Orleans. Derek Carr's the quarterback? I don't know. Hey, look, I said it to you. You got to take these jobs when they come to your way because you're never guaranteed on what job is going to be a great job. You don't know that. You're assuming you're going to get a better job the next year. Personally, I don't think Ben Johnson got a better job than what Washington was a year ago. Washington, the Redskins wanted him to be the head coach there. Now you get Caleb Williams, okay? I don't know. You've got to take those jobs when they come your way. So I understood it. But it was a very underwhelming introduction to – and for the record, I wrote some of the stuff down that he said. I like Gail Benson. I think she's a really great owner. I think she loves the city of New Orleans. I think they've done a nice job, that franchise there. They're 1,000%, she said, committed to doing what we need to win here. Mickey Loomis also said the same thing. The way Mickey Loomis talked, they knew prior to the Super Bowl Kellen Moore was going to be the head coach of the Saints, the way he was talking. And then Kellen, what I loved was that he thanked Jeffrey Lurie. He thanked Nick Sirianni. He said, there's no way I would be here without the Philadelphia Eagles. He gave you guys a lot of love, man. He did. He gave the Eagles a lot of love because, get this, do we all agree? Kellen Moore got the job in New Orleans because of what he did for the 1 year in Philly, not the 4 years or 5 years in Dallas. Correct? Right? He didn't get that job because of what he did in Dallas. It added on to it, but he got that job for what he did in Philly. So he may have been the offensive coordinator in Dallas all them years. But what he did this year in Philadelphia, you know what they probably did? They probably came to their conclusion the night that the Eagles won the Super Bowl. They probably completely came to that conclusion that he was the guy. So, I didn't think anything more or less of Kellen getting that job. So the Jets, again, we started the program off. So the Jets are going to move off of Aaron Rodgers. Could you see Aaron Rodgers landing in New Orleans? I could. Could you see him landing in Dallas? I could. Could you see some type of trade trying to get Dak down to New Orleans to reunite? I don't know. Dallas is all over the place right now. Did you see Jerry Jones making comments too that he said this? He said that the Bills are now due for the Eagles on having to pay guys, which is true. Not so much the cap, but because of success. What we talked about. Here's the difference, though. Philly pays the right people. You don't. The Dallas Cowboys right now are 50. How much are they under the cap? Or excuse me, over the cap? How many wins did the Cowboys have this year? The Dallas Cowboys right now are $5.8 million over the salary cap. How many games did the Cowboys win this year? Okay. Think about how far away they are from the Eagles. How far away they are. Okay. Cowboys won 8 games this year. This is after you paid $60 million for Dak Prescott and another $35 CeeDee Lamb, and you're $5 million over the cap. Where are you going? Is CeeDee Lamb one of the top 5 receivers in the league? Yeah. So what? You're paying the wrong people. Do you know why do you guys think you can pay A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith? Why do you guys think you are afforded that to be able to pay those guys? Why do you believe you can pay for those receivers and for Saquon and for Hurts? Why do you think you can do that? Why do you think you can do that? Pay for those wide receivers like that. Yale says creative front office. There you go, Rico. Amen. Trenches are taken care of. That is exactly the number one reason. You can have a luxury sign because your trenches are taken care of. The reason you could sign receivers to those salaries and a quarterback to those salaries, your trenches are taken care of. If that means draft or free agency, whatever. Okay? Your trenches are taken care of. You don't build a team from the perimeter in. Look what the Cowboys have done. They're going to have to sign a perimeter player, and their defensive tackles suck. What's the point of having Micah Parsons on the team when you can't stop the run? Micah Parsons is not a factor if you can't stop the run. What's the point of having Derrick Henry on your team or CeeDee Lamb on your team if your O-line's one of the worst in the league? You build your team from the inside out, not the outside in. And that's what the Eagles have done. That's why they can go and sign and trade for an AJ. Why? Their trenches are taken care of. Everything's taken care of. That's right, Yale. That's why a guy like Milton Williams is going to be a top priority for a team. You've got to get these lines taken care of. What's the number one problem in New York right now? The Giants. Really, both New York teams. Their lines. Look at the skilled guys they have. Great wideouts they drafted. Got a nice-looking running back in that kid Hall. But what's the number one problem? They don't have an O-line. What's the point of having those guys? You can't have A.J. Brown on the Carolina Panthers. What's the point? Having Devontae Adams on the Jets now. What's the point? Why would you keep Devontae Adams in New York now? If you're Woody Johnson, why would you keep him? Who's throwing him the ball? A guy coming out of college? I'm going to give you guys the top 3 players at every position so far, and this is taken from a general manager's desk. And I conferred it with another guy. Here are the top 3 players at each position that are going to be at the combines. Now, this is pre-combine, okay? This is pre-combine. Number 1, cornerbacks. Travis Hunter's going into the combines as a corner. I don't know if he'll take snaps in Indianapolis at wide receiver, but I know he's going to go and he's going to be designated as a corner going in. Why? Why would he be designated as a corner instead of wide receiver? He's a better corner. So he's the number 1 corner. Will Johnson from Michigan is the second-rated guy. I like that kid. And Benjamin Morrison from Notre Dame is the top 3 corners. So far, pre-combines. Top corners, Travis Hunter. Edge rushers. I haven't worked down from 3 yet. So that's why we'll start adding more. Edge. Eagles are not at 13.8 million in cap space. They're at 24 million in cap space. Abdul Carter is number one. I think he could be the top player selected in the draft. Number two, James Pierce, Tennessee. Mike Green from Marshall. These are your top three edge guys. Wide receivers. Tatare McMullen, Arizona. Luther Burden, Missouri, 2. And Emeka Ibaka, Ohio State, 3. Those are your top 3 wideouts. D-line. Pay attention here. Mason Graham, Michigan. I got a problem with Michigan D tackles. I think they're overrated. Can you name me a Michigan defensive tackle? Brandon Graham plays edge. Thank you. Can you name me a Michigan defensive tackle that's playing in today's NFL? Do they produce defensive linemen? Okay. Does Michigan produce defensive linemen? Mozzie Smith was supposed to be a stud. Aiden Hutchinson is an edge. I'm talking about defensive tackles, Yale. Can you name me a guy that plays inside that's a Michigan guy? Hutchinson's an edge. Not too bad on the edges. But in the middle, I can't think of one. Smith blows. But I do agree. I think this kid's good. I do. I think this kid, Mason Graham, Michigan actually has 2 of them. That kid from Ole Miss, Walter Nolan, I really like him. And number 3 is Kenneth Grant. I think those 2 Michigan guys are pretty good ball players, way better than Mozzie Smith. Okay? I do. Running back. Ashton Genty, the kid from Boise. I don't know. I don't like the competition he played. I don't really think he played against good people. And when he played against, when he was in the national, when he got to the playoffs, he got completely shut down by good people. I don't know. By the way, Eric Allen is going to join us at 5:30 Eastern time. The Scatterboo kid is 3rd. I'd like him. I would like Cameron Scatterboo on the Eagles. Now, he's probably going to be a 3rd rounder. Would you draft a running back at number 3? I'll tell you what, that's a great call. Instead of going through the whole list here, what are the top 4 needs for the Eagles? Let's do that now here. Edge, for me. DT. OT. Linebacker or corner? Corner. LB. Where's the tight end in this? You need more help with tight end. So let me rank them. I'm going to go edge. DT. Tight end. Corner. LB. Edge, DT, tight end. You got to put an O-lineman in there because that's what I just got through telling you too. Maybe at 4, you put the OT there. You put the OT there, and at 6, you put the corner. So edge, defensive tackle, tight end, offensive tackle, linebacker, and corner. Okay? The trenches are taken care of. The trenches, Rico, are never taken care of. Or no, that's right. That's what you're saying. That's why you can have a guy like AJ there, right? Hey, Shady, I don't know about just having a blocking tight end. I think you have to have a more reliable tight end than Goddard. How do you feel about Goddard? Actually, that's a great exercise when you're talking about replacing or adding to the Eagles. You need a backup quarterback, right? What round would you be looking at to add a backup quarterback? Or do you feel good with Tanner McKee and getting rid of Kenny Pickett? They're going to try to trade Kenny Pickett. I think you need another quality backup quarterback and get rid of Pickett, in my opinion, right? Get a veteran? A veteran QB? Boy, I'd like to have Russell Wilson as Jalen Hurts' backup, but that's probably too complicated. I'd like to have a veteran guy back there. Wilson's probably too weird to probably do something like that. Jameis Winston, that's not terrible. Saquon Barkley, hey man, I know you guys like Kenny Gainwell. I want that kid Skataboo, Cameron Skataboo there. I'd love to see him there helping Barkley outrun them. See, this is going to be more about second team guys. I think you need another wide receiver. I mean, you don't have to have a first rounder or second or third rounder, but you need somebody more competent there who's going to help you during the season. Trey Lance, I want somebody decent. Dallas Goedert, I'd spend a second. Grant Calcaterra is okay, but if I had Grant Calcaterra, man, I'll tell you what, if that kid Tyler Warren was down there at 32, would you draft him? If that kid Tyler Warren is down there at 32 or 30 or 29, the kid from Penn State, would you draft him? He looks awful good, man. He looks really good. I think he's not quite Brock Bowers, but he can play, man. The two most impressive players on that Penn State team were Abdul Carter and him. He can play. Chuck probably, I don't know top 10, but I think top 20 he's going to go. Top 20, I agree. I think Warren's probably going to go top 20, but he can play, man. Fred Johnson, I might have to replace him because of free agency. He's a free agent. Jack Driscoll, I don't know what his contract status is. So, I mean, Tyler Steen probably stepping in for Mekhi Becton. Probably need a backup center or a swing guard center to strengthen your O-line. Shipley's going to be more of a third down back. Shipley's not a first and second down back, in my opinion. Over on the defensive side, got to replace Milton Williams. Moro Ojomo, do you think he could step in there and take over for Milton? So Milton, I believe, was gone. Davis and Carter, Thomas Booker's a free agent. I mean, I think Jordan came on late. Nolan Smith, you're going to have to replace Brandon Graham with Jalix Hunt can step up into that will linebacker spot. Draft a guy there. Draft a guy at the other left defensive end position. I don't want to go free agent. I really don't like the free agent guys that they got. I don't. Zach Bond, That's going to be a tough sign. Hey, by the way, Gary Cobb turned out to be right about Zach Bond. He said he talked to his agent, and he talked to him. Zach Bond confirmed it today. I don't know what the future holds. That's not a, wait a minute. Before we go off the edge here with that, that's not a horrible comment. And I wouldn't take anything either way from that. Hang on for a second before you say Zach's gone. You're not going to say on February 13th, hey, man, I really want to stay here. I don't want to go anywhere else. I'll just take any number you give me. You're trying to negotiate a great deal. This is negotiations. So right now, I really would, unless it gets contentious, then you'll know with the verbiage if they say that we're so far apart. They're far apart right now. I would say Howie's probably coming in at $14 million. That's way under market. If he came in with DeAndre Swift with $6 million and Barkley got 10, ended up signing him for 10. I mean, he undercut DeAndre Swift. That sometimes tells you, too, they don't want him back. Jack says that we're signing Zach. Well, Zach said today, I don't know what the future holds. Again, I'm not suggesting to you here on February 13th that is the end all. Negotiations could end up going great, and they could end up getting this deal done. But I think it's 50-50. This is going to come down to, again, what I said. How much are you willing to pay? And you can't just say this, well, I'll sign him for anything. The Eagles don't have the Eagles ever overpaid for somebody? Yeah, well, Bryce Huff, they did. They overpaid for Bryce Huff. They overpaid for Jahan Dotson. When it comes to trades and free agent signings, they overpaid for those two. Overpaid for Wentz, you think? Yeah. I don't know. Won you an NFC championship and you got a Super Bowl in that era. Bradbury, overpaid for Bradbury. You didn't overpay for Slay. No. Bradbury did deserve that contract, though. You had to pay him because he had a one-year contract. Seals, will Vic make Huff a project for him to improve or just give up? Not going to give up. They're going to bring him back because they have to, or there's going to be a big cap hit. The Eagles are not in bad cap shape here. I don't know where people got that $14 million number. Eagles right now are $24 million. 24.496273 under the salary cap. That's their cap space, their current cap space right now. Unless that changed. Let me see. I'm on the NFL Players Association. Philly's 24.496. They're not in shitty shape, man. For being the defending world champs, they're not in, okay? They're not in any kind of shitty shape. Here are the teams in shitty shape when it comes to going into free agency. New Orleans can't do shit. Cleveland can't. Hey, you want to know why Cleveland wants to move? Do you know why Myles Garrett wants to? Seals, isn't the league cap going up? Yeah, 18%. It's going to go it's projected to hit 275. Okay? Yeah, I'm on the NFL Players Association, Philly Don, so that's all good. Here are the teams that are in shitty shape. Here's why Cleveland and why Myles Garrett wants out of Cleveland. The Cleveland Browns are $34 million over the cap. And that has a lot to do with the Myles Garrett contract. Myles knows in the offseason the Browns can't do shit because of the stranglehold that Deshaun Watson contract has. And that's right, they can't afford him anymore. But Myles sees they can't add anybody. the future that they have is limited in Cleveland. Angel Berry's going to get fired. The general manager of the Browns is going to get fired. Here's another team. Seattle, they're $19 million. Where are they going? Where are they going? That's that DK Metcalf contract that they've signed. Look at Buffalo. Buffalo is at $18 million over the cap. Buffalo's got to cut guys. Buffalo's going to go. I think Buffalo regresses more. Unless Josh Allen can continue to carry the team, Buffalo's got to whack at least 2-3 more players to get. Remember, every NFL team, correct me if I'm wrong, Yale, you need about $22 million to sign all your draft picks after April. You have to have at least $22 million. That's why Howie's got that number also. Now, you know what he does? Howie's going into February here with $24 million in cap space. He's so far ahead of the sticks because he's going to restructure contracts. He'll probably go into free agency and into the draft with probably around $50 million in cap space. Somehow restructuring it. Okay? Sileo, well, once again, because this guy doesn't understand, they're carrying dead cap money. How you doing? Read a book, kid. Might help you. Miami is $15 million. Okay? They're still paying some of the Stephon Diggs money. Buffalo's got a ton of dead money there. The Poyer deal. You can, the NFL Players Association shows you exactly what they're paying in dead cap money. Here. This is a great tool that the NFLPA gives you. New England's only got $186 million in total cap right now. Average age of 26.6. 54 players are currently under contract. How many players are under contract right now with the Eagles? 49. You got 49 players right now with the average age of 26.6. That's great. Anything under 28 years of age, you're in the ballpark here. The youngest roster right now is Vegas. I'll take that back. It's Green Bay. And they've got 36 in cap space. Okay? Okay. Sills, am I correct that the Eagles can't do anything now with Bond until free agency opens up? That'll be in, here's the calendar. Here's the calendar. I believe the new league starts March 12th. Here we go. February 18th. That's when you can franchise tag players. And you can figure out if they're going to be franchise tagged or if they're going to be transitional tags. So that's the 18th. That's coming up in 5 days. 24th of March is the NFL Scouting Combine. So you'll know if the Eagles are going to franchise tag Zach Bond on the 18th. I don't think so because that's $24 million. So here are the important dates. The 12th starts the new year. Okay? That's free agency. April 24th and 26th is the draft. March 4th, you're talking on franchising and transitional tags as well. Same thing here. That's the date from the February 18th to March 4th. So you get that time frame to determine who you're going to tag. Like last year, Cincinnati chose T. Higgins. T. Higgins hated it. And for the record, every single player that Cincinnati's ever franchise tagged, they've never brought that guy back. So Higgins is going to be out in the open market too. Hey, can anybody remember the last time the Eagles used a franchise tag? Was it Lito Shepherd? I forget who the last guy they did. Could they franchise tag? Dude, that's $20 million. I think you're overpaying for Becton at $20 million if you franchise tag him. Yeah. Bond will get signed. Dude, there's no question that they want to do it. Nobody here on February 13th is saying they don't want to sign him. Deshaun Jackson was the last guy? Okay. Nobody's saying that. But like I told you, okay, you're going to have teams overpay. So let me say this to you. One guy just said, "Hey, Sills, Bond will get done." Okay. So you think Howie's going to go on the open market and he's going to be in a bidding war for Zach Bond? You think he goes into a bidding war for him? And if you're Zach Bond, why wouldn't you? Doesn't that make business sense? To go into, hey, Howie, I want to come back, but I got to see what my market value is. Is there anything wrong with that? Say the Eagles come to him and go, here's $16 million annually. And his agent's telling him, you can get 20. That's the decision that will have to be made. Is Zach Bond okay making less money than Bryce Huff? Is he okay with that? Being the third highest paid player on that team behind Gardner Johnson, Bryce Huff. I think that's it. I don't think anybody else makes more. Do you feel, will you give up $4 million for the next 3 years, which is $12 million? You feel comfortable doing that, knowing that this will probably be your last big deal. Okay? And I'm not saying, I don't know either way. I don't know the player. I don't know the player. Roquan gets $20 million. Free agents get 19. Still $18 million a year somehow. Hey, Jack, I proposed 18.3. I would offer him 18.3 over 3 years and see what he says. It's a tick over. It's a tick over Bryce Huff. You're not insulting anybody, and you're in the market room. And Jesus, man, you just won a Super Bowl, and Vic helped you save your career. I mean, and you've only played 1 year. Man, it's a great time. I got to tell you something. So I got a text message from Jared Bell and from Jason Cole right before, I don't know if I should say this, right before the door knock to Eric Allen. So they gave me a heads up. And all my guys that I helped do all the intel for and all the information for, they were telling me, Allen made it. And I went, no fucking way. And they go, you can't tell him. I go, do you know how bad? He sent me the coolest video of him lighting the torch when he was in Las Vegas. And he did it for the Raiders. You know, he's got great love for both places. He's a homegrown Eagle guy. That's where he started, before he broke his bones. I mean, all that. I get it. So he goes, don't send this out, Sills. I got it. I showed my family. He loved it. So then get this. I called D. Brown, Jerome Brown's son. And I said, Eric Allen made the Hall of Fame. It's the only guy I've told. He goes, get it. I go, don't say nothing. And I thought of Jerome when I thought of Eric Allen getting in, because right now Jerome would probably be going in. So without further ado, man, the knock on the door, and he's welcomed into the Pro Football Hall of Fame. We put the intel together. 20 voters out of the 50 voters asked me who I would put, and I put him on the list. I said, when Eric Allen started coming on my program, I didn't know he wasn't in. I was like, I had left him off my intel list because I thought he was in. Didn't he go in about 6 years ago? They go, no. And I'm like, what? Oh, what? So without further ado, here he is, the newly inducted Pro Football Hall of Famer, Eric Allen. Hey, man, congratulations.
Hey, Dan, man, it's been an amazing ride since, the knock on the door, and then keeping it a secret for a week or so before we hit the honors show. But you're exactly right. When the knock came, it was from Randall McDaniel. And Randall and I go back to our first recruiting trip to college. And he was from Avondale, Arizona. And so it was like the last recruiting trip. So usually, you save the last one for the best one. And it was probably a group of maybe 9 or 10 of us. I think all of us signed like that Sunday. Because, when you go on a recruiting trip, Friday and Saturday is for the players to kind of take you out into the town. And we had a great time. And so we roll in Sunday to our coaches meeting, and we're like, where's the pen at? Where's the pen? I'm signing right now. So Randall came to the door, and my wife, she did a great job. She kind of planned the whole situation, and they called her several weeks before. They're like, hey, if Eric makes the Hall of Fame, here's the 3 players that he has a relationship with who are already in the Hall of Fame. So it was Marcus Allen, of course, San Diego 619 legend, right? And, my brother from another mother, and Mike Haynes, who him and Dion, to me, are the best 2 cover corners in the history of the league.
I love that.
And before they even, finished Randall's last name, she was like, Randall McDaniel. And so Randall was the guy. So it was just, from that point on, it's just been, like I said, just a really magical ride.
Man, I heard some Lincoln High love there when you said Marcus Allen there, man. Throwing some Lincoln love at him there here. Who was the first person that you thought of that, because Eric, you know this, man, when you're on a journey like you are, God, there's thousands of people of gratitude that you think of, and there's a list an arm long, and sometimes you forget even the small little things that they do. Who was the first person that you thought of when all of a sudden they said, welcome to the Pro Football Hall of Fame?
Well, to be honest, and I'm not doing this so I can get some extra food, but the person who has been with me the longest consecutively has been my wife. We've been together since we were 14, 15 years old. So she's been the longest person that I've been with in my life, So obviously it was Lynn. But as far as like the football part and understanding what it takes to, to get the best out of you, my older brother, Craig Allen, was 8 years older than me. And, like our neighborhood at that time, like in the early 70s, was about being in a car club. Like we had my brother had lowrider. He was in a lowrider car club. He had like a 6'3" Impala, a 6'8" Impala. And so that was the culture we were in. And on Sundays, they would shine their rims, and they would drive up to South Central Los Angeles, and all like the car clubs would get together. They would cruise on Crenshaw. And you couldn't tell me that wasn't going to be my life. That was going to be my life. I wanted to be in a car club and have hydraulics, but my brother knew better, and he was the first one to put that ambition and that encouragement and pour that into me to build that foundation, so that when I did compete, baseball or football, that I was trying to reach a level. And it was never really about the pros. It was always about the next level. So in Pop Warner, it's about getting to high school. In high school, it's about getting to college. And then But Craig, man, for him, I need to be better because he poured so much into me and kind of laid the foundation in which I was able to kind of spring from. Willie Shaw, who his son is David Shaw, who coached at Stanford, was my first position coach. He was the first one to really give me those foundation tools. He said, hey, man, make sure you know how to line up, know your assignment, and be able to adjust. And with those three things, alignment, assignment, and adjustment, I was able to, whatever situation I was in, on the field or off the field, kind of have a base in which to work from. And so when I got to college, and he was there for a couple years, and then it was Larry Marmee, who was all about commitment and consistency and making sure, like, you know, you put in the work. And if you put in the work in the off season and you have all this capability, there's no way you're going to fail during the season. So with all that, I get to the drafting process, and we had a we had a strength and conditioning coach. His name was Ronnie Jones, and he later went to Philadelphia and told Buddy Ryan about me. And you know, back then we didn't have cell phones, so I come into the weight room, and it's like week 7 or 8 in the college season, and they were like, "Hey, telephone's for you." So I picked the phone up. I'm talking to Ronnie, and he's like, "Hey, man, Buddy Ryan loves you, and whatever you're doing, keep doing it." So I'm like, "What are you talking about?" So, you know, he kind of explains the situation, go through the draft process, and at that time, Keith Jackson and I were the main targets for the Philadelphia Eagles. They needed a tight end to kind of help kind of solidify Randall, Mike Quick, Chris Carter, those guys. And Buddy was thinking, I just need a cover corner to kind of complete that defense. And the idea was one of us was going to be that 13th pick. And as it played out, the 13th pick came and they took the tight end. So the phone rings. My agent's like, he answers it. The Eagles are calling my agent saying the Bears are going to call. Don't answer the call because they're going to find a way to trade and get up. Right? Yeah, no one knows this stuff. So I'm like 18, 19 years old, whatever. I'm like, yeah, let's wait. I want to play for the Eagles. I'm just thinking this is kind of like, you know, like techno football or something. I had no idea how the business works. And my agent was like, "Are you sure?" I was like, "Yeah, I'd rather play for the Eagles." I mean, I don't have any idea, like money wise, like what happens. I have no idea, like what's playing. He's like, "All right." He waits. They do call. They end up drafting some guy from Stanford or something. So Buddy climbs up in the first pick in the second round, the 30th pick, picks me. And I am juiced. I'm excited. So after the draft, we all fly out. All the draft picks fly out to Philadelphia just for like a rookie mini camp. And then you go back to your school to finish or whatever. I have a long meeting with Buddy. He says, "You know, you want to be a football player or do you want to make this your career?" I was like, "Obviously, I want to make it my career." And he's like, "So I want you to start. And if you start, I'm going to put in your contract to where you make up that money you lost that you would have been if you're the 13th guy picked." And he said, "I'm also going to get you an internship because I want you to withdraw from school and come out here, practice with the team because I want you my day one starter so you can get this money." I called my agent. I was like, "Hey, man, here's the deal." And he's like, "Oh, great." So Buddy Ryan really did something that you wouldn't think a head coach in the National Football League who's had so much success would reach out and do. So I've been so fortunate about my path and how I was able to get there. And some people I'll never be able to personally thank, but like platforms like yours and some of the others I've been on, it gives me an opportunity to kind of give back.
Man, that is a fabulous story that Here you are. You're being told. Get this, folks. I went in the third round. So he's going, hey, don't take that call for being a first pick. Are you sure? I mean, screw it. I'll wait for the Eagles. And they end up doing it. That is such a fact. I've never heard anything like that before. That is so dope. Now, let me ask you this, though, before we talk about the Super Bowl here. For you, was it relief? Was it another emotion? I mean, surely you were pissed off. I talked to Harry Carson for years, and he used to get so pissed off that they were going back to him. And Harry told me, screw it, take my name out. And the next year he made it. The year
I heard that.
He made it, okay? Yeah. So was it relief? What was that emotion like for you when you went? Because everyone knows, Eric, honest to God, when they told me, hey, start doing some intel on Eric. Eric, didn't he go in 6 years ago? He goes, no. I'm like, he's not in. And so you start going like this. I can't believe that. So what was that emotion like?
I just super excited. And for me, I believe it's the highest recognition in all of sports as an individual to be in this very, very, very exclusive club. So I'm 379. That's how they refer to me. I'm 379. So all
the jackets too, the number inside the jackets, the number where you go as a Hall of Famer.
Yeah, every piece of article, not every piece, but most pieces of article that they've given us so far, somewhere has 379. And with all it was overwhelming. With all the players that I've played with from, 8, 9 years old, high school, college, professionals, all three teams, there's been some really great players that I played with. But to be, 379, man, it was just overwhelming. And the validation part, it doesn't validate me because, as you know, as a football player, I got to play every Sunday or Monday and the playoff games. I'm the one in the arena getting the pick, taking it to the house, throwing it in the stands. And I'm in Philly, just kind of doing my thing. Really, it validated my family, my friends, and the fan base. So for that young kid who was, there in the vet in 1993, when I'm doing my thing, and I was his favorite player. And when he went to school, rocking my jersey, and people were like, "Why are you wearing that jersey? Why aren't you wearing Rod Woodson's jersey?" And he was like, "Because EA's a better player." And up until 2 weeks ago, he wasn't really able to stand on his business, but now he is. So I was happy that it validated all those folks because, since 76, I've known what I could do. I'm saying? I'm in the concrete over on 42nd and Ocean View here in San Diego. So it was just a huge recognition, but the validation part validates all those people, are referred to as the Allen clan.
All right. Toughest question. I posed this question, and Troy Aikman was shocked that I said it. I said, "Troy, do you know that you're Jimmy Johnson's toughest athlete he ever coached?" And he goes, "Why?" I said, "Well, you turned him down going to Oklahoma State. You turned him down to go to Miami. And you ended up in his lap because they had drafted you already before Jimmy had showed up to Dallas. And you guys ended up together somehow." That's how Troy Aikman presented Jimmy Johnson. And he's like, "I never thought of it that way." And I said, all of his Miami guys and his Cowboy guys, he chose Aikman his toughest guy. Have you narrowed it down a list of who you're going to have? Or is it going to be the person that stood by you the most? Will it be the wife or will it be someone else? I mean, this has got to be one of the toughest things.
Yeah,
it's going to present you.
It is. And my wife and I started to go through that process. And to be honest, there were some people, because I haven't, officially announced it yet, but there were some people in Philadelphia one or two who are still, around, who are in the mix, and, people from Oakland, now Las Vegas, who are in the mix. So in the next couple days or so, I'm going to really narrow it down. But you were right, Dan. It's very difficult because that person is kind of representing everyone who was a part of the journey. And you want someone to be able to reflect that when they're introducing you and have a sense of family, have a sense of the beginning, the end, all the stuff in the middle. And it's not for everybody because that stage is big. And that's going to be something that's going to be documented forever. So it's extremely important. And I've had several friends of mine lately who have started to call and like, hey, E, I need to be the guy. I have a great group of friends here who I shoot hoop with at the YMCA, and I'm there every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, 11 o'clock. So if you think you got some game, come on down. It's at Mission Valley. But yeah, they're all thinking they're going to be the guy. Like I hate to tell you, bro, but it's not going to be you.
Yeah. I may have to check out that game because you're right around the corner from me there. I never thought this, though. Eric Allen is going to be there on Grand Avenue in the lowrider. I mean, I'm still getting that picture out of my mind here. He's in the Impala, in the 66 Impala, rolling up and down Grand Avenue and Crenshaw. Pretty cool here. You spoke about defense. Let's talk about your Eagles here, man. How impressed were you? I was one of the greatest performances I've ever seen by a defensive football team, especially against that quarterback. How impressed were you?
I was very impressed. And, we talked early on this year about 2024, 2025 season was kind of like a throwback to the 89, 90s, that late 80s, early 90s type of football where, if you were the Buffalo Bills, you had Kelly, you had Thurman, you had Andre Reed. If you were the 49ers, you had Roger Craig, you had the great Joe Montana, you had Jerry Rice, John Taylor. If you're the Cowboys, you had Emmett, you had Aikman, you had Big Mike. So everyone played complementary football back then. It was a point where if you had a great defense, you couldn't just have a great defensive line. You couldn't just have a great linebacker core. You had to have special players at every level. And that's what the Eagles had this year. They had not as great as our defensive line, obviously, but close, right? Great pressure in the middle, like Jerome, Golick. Outstanding outside pressure. No one's going to be Reggie White, but Clyde, Reggie. So they had a little bit of that in the middle of the field. It took us a little time, but after a while, Byron Evans, Seth Joyner, man, Willie T. I mean, just guys who did one or two things really great, and then Seth did everything great. So it kind of tied that group together. And then on the back end, myself, Ben Smith, of course, Andre Waters, Wes Hopkins, Terry Hogue, who never gets mentioned, but man, early on, that dude was like a walking interception. So this year, the Eagles, their defense, they were able to bring all those factors together that the Eagles defenses of the past 30 or so years have had. That first Super Bowl run, with McNabb and those guys, they had a really strong secondary, but their rush wasn't great. So the Eagles this year, they had it all. And then they had a coordinator who was legendary, who was able to bring that all together and have an amazing plan. Man, I can't say enough about how impressed I was with Zach Bond in the middle of the football field, being like cast off by the Saints and having a all Madden type of year. And then those two young guys in the secondary, man, Quinion and Cooper, man, they were some ballers. They never hit the rookie wall. And a lot of that credit goes to Big Play Slay, how you sit in the media rooms, how you practice, how you talk football, how you just play the game. I think those two young guys got a lot of swag and how to play the game from Slay. And then the two safeties, man, they may have played their best game in the Super Bowl. So it was just a overall dominant performance by that Philadelphia Eagles defense.
Jalen Hurts, what do you know, I mean, maybe one of the most scrutinized guys because he doesn't put up the flashy numbers, but here he is again. I mean, I'm a resume guy. You know, 2 NFC championships, a Super Bowl now. Now you put a Super Bowl MVP on the end of that. You can say whatever you want about Lamar. You could say whatever you want about Joe Burrow. I get it, MVP Josh Allen, but resumes speak to you and me, man, especially when you're in our league. They speak to us, man. I mean, you just can't do this. Well, he's a better talent. Well, Aaron Rodgers is a better talent than Brady, but he ain't a better quarterback. I mean,
right.
How do you see him?
Yeah. He has just really moved the needle for himself and the possibilities of where he's going to sit next contract and at the end of his career. To be able to be on the big stage and still remain calm, poised, be able to make those big critical throws. Now, the one thing that I think people criticize or just question about him is, what does he do great? Maybe not anything. Outside the pocket, he's not Mahomes. Inside the pocket, he's not Burrow. He doesn't run a course like Lamar with the twitchiness. He doesn't run like Allen with the power. But he does all those things really well. And when you're in situations and you give him the opportunity to process the information, and that's another thing I'm not sure people understand, and he gets, tagged and criticized about it, but his coach does too. And I think when they went to, hey, we don't want you under center. We want you in pistol or the gun so you can process the information quickly. Remember, Hurts is not like a 6'4" guy. So when you're under center and you take that drop and you go to set up, if you're not like a 6'3", 6'4" guy, your processing is a little different. So your drops is not going to be like 5 or 7, right? For a 5-step drop, if you're a 6'2" and under guy, that 5-step drop is now a 6-step drop because you're trying to see over that humongous offensive line, right? So now the route development has to be different because when a receiver hits like his 5th step, he's going to run the out, he's going to, come back. But if your quarterback is not ready to deliver the ball, then no matter what your routes are, it's not going to be on point. So now you got to adjust the route stuff. So that all goes into the coach looking at this young man and saying, man, he's really good, but maybe early on when he's coming in the center with play action, it's just not great. I mean, we can't build anything off that. So you know what? Let's put him in the gun. Man, that was just great coach awareness to see this young man and how he can process better and be a more efficient, consistent quarterback if he's from the gun. That's the starter. Then he runs pretty well, and he knows when to run. He doesn't take many sacks. Most importantly, he doesn't throw many interceptions. He'd rather throw the ball away, live for another day. So that's traditional quarterbacking. He's not setting new standards, and people want to see new. They want to see flashy. They want to see, Mahomes, just make some incredible plays. But in each big game, particularly the Super Bowl, he's played extremely well. He's been someone you can count on, and the play caller has been really tied like arm to arm with Hurts, and he played a magnificent, marvelous game, and have a lot of respect for that young man.
Finally here. So am I getting this right here? The guys that are going to be making decisions and making some football decisions on the Raiders' future. By the way, that Brock Bowers kid's sick. So you guys here, am I getting it right? Tom Brady and Eric Allen are going to have some type of input on the direction of the Raiders. I want to hear that.
Hey, man. I'm on the bottom floor, right there in our facility. Listen, in our facility, we got 3 floors. We got the bottom floor where all the action is, the weight room, the players, Max Crosby, and and Brock Bowers. The second floor, they have a lot of makeup where I go into my studio and I do my thing. The third floor is where all the decisions are made. I don't travel on the third floor. I tell it, Pete Carroll is a great friend of mine. We have the same representation. And I just told him, I was like, listen, I've been here for 5 years and there's some coaches that do a really good job. And if you ever need any advice on who I think coaching wise are able to relate with the players or how the players interact with one another and they interact with me, hey, my phone is open. But that's it right there. Hey, TB12 and Mr. Mark Davis, they can take all the smoke.
Absolutely, man. What a great interview. I'm so happy for you, man. I mean, I know that it's been a whirlwind for you now. You're going to be standing there at the Hall of Fame here this coming summer, man. I can't wait to watch your speech. I mean, those speeches are, Michael Irvin, it brought him to tears. I was there for Cortez Kennedy and, a bunch of my Canes brothers. I was there for that. And it's really an emotional time. So, Eric, thank you so much for your time. I mean, you know how much I think about it.
Yeah, thank you for the platform, man. And I'm going in, and a bunch of these guys here right behind me, the whole group, they got a young kid right in the middle. There's Jerome in there. Of course, there's Reggie in there. There's Clyde. There's Seth. There's Golick, Byron Evans, all the group. So I'm going in, but these guys are going in with me.
Absolutely. Hey, I got to show you. So my guy, Xander Krause, gave me this. So this is what I wore on Super Bowl Sunday. I just want you to know. I wore this on Super Bowl Sunday, and it was a gift given to me. So I wore this bad puppy. And my Canes brothers told me this. They go, there's very few people that can wear that jersey. So you played next to him, and you were one of his best friends. So, and you too, of course. So congratulations.
Much respect.
You bet, man.
Thank you, man.
So much, my friend. Eric Allen, Hall of Famer. Fantastic, man. I can't wait for that speech this summer with him. Absolutely great stuff. Xander, let me do a live read, take a small time out, and we'll come back here. I want to make sure that we get a BetUS in. Hey, our great friends at BetUS, make sure you guys team up with our friends at BetUS. They've got a great casino there and the YouTube 150. Signing bonuses up to $2K. Second and third are 125%. 200% when it comes to crypto, and your signing bonuses up to $2K. That's betus.com.pa. That's betus.com.pa. Fastest payouts in the business. 24/7 personalized service, 365 days of the year. Live wagering on all major games. That's betus.com.pa. That's betus.com.pa. And do me a favor, you tell them Big Sil sent you.
This is Eric. When he got injured in a car accident, he called Morgan & Morgan. He not only gets a lawyer, he gets trial lawyers like Sam and Jessica who are in it to win it. He gets his own investigators with briefcases, leather ones. And if you ever have questions, our customer service folks keep things rolling. Injured? We're your army. Morgan & Morgan, America's largest injury law firm.
Ignite your nights with free live entertainment daily, only at Live Casino and Hotel Philadelphia's Center Bar. 7 days a week, enjoy some of the region's top party bands, performers, and DJs as they take the stage in the heart of the casino action. Great cocktails, live music, and lively moments. It's all happening at Center Bar at Live Casino and Hotel Philadelphia. Visit livecasinophilly.com for more details and the complete list of upcoming events. Must be 21 or older. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Your financial future is on the line. Are you ready for what's next? At Leone & Company Wealth Management, we help young professionals, business owners, and pre-retirees navigate the complexities of building and protecting wealth. For young professionals, we'll help you grow your wealth, plan for your future, and make the most of your hard-earned dollars. For business owners, we provide strategies to protect your company, manage risks, and create a lasting legacy for both your business and personal wealth. For pre-retirees, we'll design a plan to secure your retirement, ensuring you can live comfortably and confidently in your next chapter. Whether you're just starting out, managing a thriving business, or preparing for retirement, we're here to help you take control of your financial future. The first consultation is on us. Get the advice you need without the cost. Let's make your financial vision a reality. Take the next step. Scan the QR code to schedule your free consultation today. And of course, go Birds.
In our hometown, we all look out for each other. We step up to keep our communities going strong. And at Independence Blue Cross, we're here to keep you going strong as the #1 health insurer in the region. No IBX is always looking out for you.
EAGLEX. Eagles.
What a story. Eric Allen was supposed to be a Chicago Bear, but the Eagle coach told him not to pick the phone up. The only place you heard that was here. That story's never been told. Unbelievable. That's what you get with the show here, man. Can't wait to post that one there. Hey, by the way, just for your insight, don't forget tomorrow, Xander's going to be down there in front of City Hall there with a red flatbed. So make sure you spot him out there. He's going to be there for the parade, okay? JAKIB Nation, get out there. Make sure you see him. We got a big day planned tomorrow too, man. What an absolutely fabulous moment for the city of Philadelphia celebrating their second championship. We appreciate all of you. Please hit the like button. To Big Joe, we appreciate it. Big Z, great work as always. 2 to 6 tomorrow, and we'll see you on the flip side.